I'll let you know. Or we'll
So,
both let you know. Oh, yeah,
well,
you're good.
All right,
Go
all
for it.
right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of Comic Convo, the show where members of the YouTubers Corps come together to converse about weekly to current comic books. Today, we're going to be discussing the books that came out for the week of May 15th to May 20. What is today? May 21st. Um, So if you're new to the show, this is how we break it down. We're going to talk about DC, indie stuff, and then Marvel. Then we're going to have a comic book section where we talk about comic book related news, and then we're going to do Q&A. And Jeremy and Chris, these guys are right here, will be talking about the DC and indie stuff, and I'll jump in for the Marvel stuff. So I might lag out of this. I'm going to do the internet. I got to change my internet up. So you guys just go ahead, and I'll pop right back in. All right.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right, so where do you want to start, Chris? DC or Indy?
let's see. I guess I can. I guess I'll start with the DC. I only have 5 DC books.
I've got
No,
7.
4. Excuse me.
I've got 7 DC, 7 Indy, and 3 Marvel.
Okay.
All right. I guess I'll start it off. And then if you picked it up, then yeah, you can also talk about it. I'll start off with one that I read that I got from the Midtown pool that Chris set up. Bombshells issue number 12. I freaking love this series. Marguerite Bennett does an amazing job on this, and I believe Marguerite Sauvage is the artist for this as well. Basically, guys, if you guys remember that whole series of covers in like the 1950s pinup style art that spun off into its own separate like alternate World War II universe that apparently just really loves lesbians because pretty much every other character is a lesbian or bisexual, which I'm cool with, but I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Pretty much everybody is bisexual in here. Um, so if you can see on the cover here, you've got basically the bombshells dealing with D-Day, but they're not fighting. They're not just fighting Nazis. They're fighting a Kraken and a giant Titan. And you've got Wonder Woman here. You've got Stargirl, and you've got Kate Kane, Batwoman, who is actually like a legit baseball player, and she's the Batwoman. Um, but it's pretty badass. It's basically just an action issue of them fighting against this like Titan or whatever. And to explain kind of a little bit of the backstory for Supergirl and Stargirl, they're actually sisters in this universe, and they are Soviet experiments, kind of like super soldiers. And I will find a good image of them. This is what they're fighting pretty much. Is this giant like black ink Titan, and so Amara ends up getting captured by the Nazis, and she becomes a prisoner of war. I'll spoil that much. And basically, to defeat the Titans, one of the bombshells has to sacrifice themselves. I'm not going to spoil who does, but I was a little upset because it's one of my favorite characters, and it's a really good issue. If you like World War II and you like just a good girl power book and really interesting artwork, definitely recommend DC Bombshells. I mean, look at this art. This art is just gorgeous. Love this book. Definitely recommend it. I think the first couple I think there are like 2 trades out. Definitely recommend checking out Bombshells. Next one I've got is, I know Chris, you get this too. Titans Hunt issue number 8.
Oh, yeah.
So, what did you think of it?
Actually, a very good climactic ending to this mini. I thought Abnett did a very good job, especially with the characters, because of the fact that beginning of the New 52, guys, most Titan fans were like, they really are not knowing where to go with the Teen Titans. And then Abnett gives us this, where it's basically he's implying that there was a Teen Titans team before Tim and everybody, but they lost their memory, and they don't remember what they did, and there's a reason why they lost their memory, and then when it comes back, they find out who is manipulating them, and I thought that was really good. Seeing Dick back in a Nightwing costume,
Even though it's not the blue one,
even though it's not the blue one, it was really good to see him. You know, seeing Donna and Garth together, and Roy and
You
Hawk
just
and
need to get
Dove.
rid of that stupid hat.
Yeah, Hawk and Dove and Lilith and even Karen Beecher, aka Bumblebee, who's pregnant in this.
Yep, and Mal is in it too, and
Now, fighting this guy called Mr. Twister.
Yep, and he was actually the first villain that the Titans fought back in the '60s. I had to look it up because I knew the name sounded familiar, but I was like, yo, so it's the first villain they ever fought in the back in the '60s when they were first introduced in Brave and the Bold.
And Lilith, and basically what I liked is that this Mr. Twister, he feels that he's still looking at them as being young, and you got Dick and all them saying like, I'm not Robin anymore, and they go down a list of telling him who they are, and just we're not Teen Titans anymore, and literally even says we're Titans. And I love this scene where Hawk just goes berserk on him after, because they do imply that the first Dove did die, and that was really very interesting as well. But a very good ending to this mini. And
Also, did you talk about the how it ended with because I have a theory about that ending.
yeah, I was about to go there. Basically, I like the ending that basically Abnett implies that because they're all sitting down eating pie in a diner, and all of them are talking about hey, maybe we should stick together. Now that we got our memory back, it'd be cool to work together again. And basically Dick says something about wait a minute, about, excuse me, that there were 10 of us before.
Yeah, he said Mr. Twister said there were 10 of us. If you do the math,
10 of us. So, and we know that Karen was a replacement for the. So who are the other two? And then
and Don isn't the original. Don isn't the original Dove that was with them.
And so basically, it kind of ends with them. One of the police officers saying there's a big storm coming through. No, it's thunder and lightning. And I was like, really? Okay, I know where that's going.
Yep, and they said that a fan favorite character will return in DC Rebirth. They said one character from the New 52 will die, and one character from Pre-52 will return. And I'm like, in the Rebirth little live shows that they did, they said that Titans Hunt is directly connected to Rebirth. So my theory is, if they can have two Supermen, why not have two versions of Wally West? So and especially because in every big crisis-like event, a speedster is involved. So I'm like, it has to be Wally.
Could be. But other than that, like I said, this was just a really good, a good 8-part mini. I read it from issue 1. I actually told Mr. Abnett himself he did a good job with this. I'm looking forward to Titans Rebirth.
Yep, definitely. That's high on my radar as well.
So definitely, I very much enjoyed this. The artwork was really good. I liked how the interaction with the characters, where they started was, they were at each other's throats because they didn't know, and now they've got their memory back of who they were and that they were kind of like a family. They were close.
Pretty much.
Like, yeah, all right, let's do this. So yeah, this was good. This was really good.
All right, cool. So next up, I don't know if you get this, Chris, but this is Wonder Woman, Legend of Wonder Woman, issue number 6 of 9, and this is done by Renee DeLise, and Ray Dillon, and this is basically a mini series telling another version of Diana's origin, but it basically takes elements from all the different eras of Wonder Woman and kind of meshes it into one origin. And at this point, this is set during 1945, and Diana is working as a war nurse, helping the wounded or whatever under the name Diana Prince. She's roommates with Etta Candy, and she's trying to figure out like who is causing all this like death and destruction on the battlefield, besides the Nazis, because apparently this person can like resurrect people, or resurrect dead soldiers and kind of use them as like, an undead army or whatever. And so Diana is trying to fight this guy, and she can't do it with just her regular Amazon training. So she basically, this whole issue leads up to her finally putting on her armor. But then Etta is like, well, if you're trying to be an ambassador from your country to our country, I think it would be smart if you wear our colors to show that you're on our side. So at the very end of the issue, I'll show you guys just my personal favorite part is when because basically she helped save some soldiers earlier on in the issue, and the papers are calling her the Woman of Wonder, the sensational Woman of Wonder or whatever. And then Etta's like, use that. You don't have to reveal your identity. You could still go by Diana Prince or whatever. But on the battlefield, they can they'll call you whatever the press dubs you, that Woman of Wonder, or Wonder Woman. That works. And then I'll show you like Etta tries to make some of her some proto costumes. One that looks more like the an eagle, and then one that looks kind of like a kimono. And then this is where we set. Then she finds the American flag that she had in her bag, given to her by an old woman who helped her when she first landed in America. And then she puts together, towards the end, at the very last page, the Wonder Woman costume we will come to know. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm an issue behind on that. That's why. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I love this issue. I love this whole series. As a huge Wonder Woman fan, I always love when they try to do new takes on the origin. And the creative team is really cool. They've been really responsive to pretty much everybody that talks about the book, and it's just a fun series. This was definitely high on my list. So what else you got, DC, Chris?
Let me see. All right. Well, I'll save that one for last. I'll say that because if I was doing a pick of the week, that'd probably be my pick. Okay.
I think I know which one you're talking about too.
I'm gonna go with the last issue of Aquaman. This is the end of the Dark Water issue that was going on. Dan Abnett once again does what he can with this issue. One of my biggest interesting things in here is seeing Mira.
She's Aquawoman now, right?
Yeah, Mira. She's fighting dead water. That's the name of the creature, and she does something so cool in this, as always, showcasing her aquakinesis, where she literally sucks the oxygen. She literally drains the water out of this creature, so he can turn back into his human form.
Oh, nice.
Right here, she's like really draining him. And then
sweet, water bending.
Yeah, she's basically water bending, but unfortunately, he can't. The guy, what's his name? I'm trying to remember his name. Mr. They just call him Mr. Pain. He can't really control because he kind of flips out and then he'll turn into this creature right here, up there. He's called Deadwater.
Oh, that's pretty freaky.
And mainly it's just pretty much wrapping up that story, as well as Aquaman fighting I'm forgetting the guy's name who's in this big his name is Mortimer. Yeah, he goes. He's in this big like mech suit, and you just see him and Arthur going at it. Arthur has to do something in this that he kind of regrets doing. Guys, I'll let you know right now that he really didn't want to do. You don't really see Arthur go through those lengths, but he does something that he didn't want to do. But it ends kind of on a kind of a good note in some ways, especially for Arthur.
And this leads directly into Rebirth, right?
Yeah, but it does lead. It kind of ends on just you know something's coming, and it leads into Rebirth. So, but other than that, yeah, this was good. The artwork is done by Cifuentes, I believe that's his name. Yeah, right. Yeah, let me make sure. Vicente Fernandez. Yeah, Cifuentes. Yeah, Cifuentes. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that was Aquaman number 52. And the other DC book I got was Wonder Woman number 52.
The end of the Finch's run. I've loved this run so far.
The end of Meredith's run. And this wraps up, guys, the whole Baby Zeke and Zola and Hera once again. Just oh my God, she's
being a bitch.
Yeah, being a bitch. I don't want to spoil too much in this, but it was really good. You get to see just how much love Diana has for Baby Zeke and what she's willing to sacrifice to save that little boy, or I should say,
her dad.
Her, basically her. She is related to him because Zeke is the child of Zeus and she's a child.
No, he's the reincarnation of Zeus, actually.
Yeah, but
it's a
there's
weird story.
Another factor involved in this as well. Somebody from Zeus's past who supposedly loved him, and this person is trying to resurrect him. I will spoil this guy. Zeus does return. He does reborn. But he does some things in here that you just wouldn't expect Zeus to do. But it was really good to see him actually applaud his daughter, who is Diana. But
it's also really cool because I think the whole point of Zeus becoming Zeke is so that he could learn love and humility, and I think it really showed that there when Zeus does come back.
Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. He does applaud. I mean, there's a great shot of him holding his Diana hair. I'll show you that great shot of him holding her.
But, yeah, and that's Miguel Mondonica's art. Yeah. He does great stuff. He did the art for Meredith's Little Mermaid series for Zenescope.
But bless you. But it does kind of end on a sour note as well. It kind of happy, but then it's also sour. But Hera just being a bitch, basically Hera she just wanted to rule Olympus. She always was saying, why does Olympus need a king, and why can't it just have a queen? And but it was good. I very much enjoyed what the Finches took over this series. But now that Rucka's coming back,
I'm really hyped for that.
Definitely seeing because I enjoyed his first run, and if he can bring the same kind of fire that he wrote with that first run, I'm on board.
Plus, you got Nicola Scott, and Nathan Sharp. I don't know why I combined her name with his for a second.
I love that Aussie. And the final book that I got, of course, is probably this has been my pick of the week.
Yep.
Is Future Quest right here.
Oh, this book was freaking awesome.
I picked up the All Space Ghost cover. People see that.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
Jeff Parker just really nails this book, in my opinion. This was out of the Hanna-Barbera DC books that are coming out. This was one that really just caught me real quick. Basically, Jeff Parker is going to take all those superheroes from Hanna-Barbera you could think of and put them into one book somehow. I'm talking about Space Ghost, of course, Birdman, Mytor, the Impossibles, Johnny Quest, the Herculoids, Galaxy Trio, Shazam.
Did they mention Thundar in there?
I don't know. Thundar's not Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, huh.
I
could have sworn he was.
We'll probably see young Samson and Goliath, but this was a very solid start to this series. The one thing I will applaud definitely is just what Parker did with Birdman. He gave Birdman character,
and it also fits seamlessly into it. Like, I actually bought that Birdman existed in this universe because he kind of just was there, and it didn't seem forced or added on. It felt very natural, that he had his whole secret identity. As soon as I saw Avenger, I was like, that's Birdman, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they give him character that the series never really did. I mean, he has an identity. For one, if you watch the original Birdman cartoon, whether you watch it when it was just on Cartoon Network back in the day, or when you watch it now on Boomerang, if you can catch it, Birdman never really had an identity. He was always in that volcano, just waiting for orders from Falcon 7, and then he flies out and then does whatever he does. But in this, we have an identity with him, and you get to see him with character. It's just the kind of character you want from this classic character. I mean, he's not mono for God. He's not monologuing to himself. That's one thing. But you just get a sense of he's just this ordinary guy, but he's the avatar of the Egyptian god of the sun, Ra. Yep. And he kind of even says an oath to become Birdman. I was like, oh, that's badass right there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. It was very Green Lantern-like. I was thinking it was very Green Lantern-esque.
And the thing about it is that in this world, he's kind of a myth. Like Dr. Quest even says, I thought he was a myth. It was and his I guess Birdman's partner even says no, he's not no myth. He's real.
Yeah, and I like that he's kind of like a secret agent. That's pretty cool.
He's a special secret agent, and we also get to see at the beginning of it. We get to see, I guess, the birth of Space Ghost.
Yeah, the origin of Space Ghost, and that's pretty. I was like, oh, this is the dark version that they showed in that one miniseries.
Yeah, and Haji and Johnny were done just spot on.
Yeah, that felt straight up like an episode of Johnny Quest. And I mean, granted, I've only watched the reruns about 100 times, but I never actually got to see it while it was airing because that was before my time, obviously. But I've seen the reruns numerous times. I love Johnny Quest.
And what also was good, we got to see probably one of my favorite villains in cartoons, and probably in Johnny Quest mythos, was Dr. Zinn, and he's working for an organization that is usually follows with Birdman, Fear. I was like, okay, that's cool. But this just was solid all around, and it just, and the ending was just like, okay, we may actually get a fight between two Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty sweet. Also, Darwin Cook, the late great Darwin Cook provided the character design. So this is actually, I guess technically this would be Cook's last published work.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Because I was looking at the credits when I read it the first time, and I'm like, oh, character designs by Darwin Cook. That's cool.
But one thing I wanted to show everybody, usually I don't want to spoil too much, but I think I have to because it's pretty cool. Is just seeing him. Wait, here we go. Seeing Birdman transform. Like I said, he has like an oath, and he's basically saying, what is it? He says, "I fly for the glory of Ra. The sun is my strength. The sky is my home. To me, to my side, Avenger." And then you just see him fly away, and that signature
Birdman.
Okay.
That's
But
really
one other thing I wanted to show is here it is. I'm not sure if that's Tundro or just another one of his kind that's dead. But if you look at down there, there's a vortex, and you can see all the other Hanna-Barbera heroes in there.
Also, something I found that was kind of ironic.
What's that?
They're seeing all these vortexes and this like nexus of realities in the Everglades, just like in Marvel.
Yeah.
Like how Marvel, the Everglades is the nexus of realities. I thought that was kind of cool that they kind of did that, but with Hanna-Barbera stuff.
I mean, exactly, because you could actually see, if you look in the vortex here, you see Space Ghost with Jan, Jason, and Blip. You see Mytor, you see the Herculoids with, and then you see Shazam the genie, the one who, that's how he goes. Yeah, this was just really good, and it ends with Johnny and Haji running into Space Ghost, and it's just like he is not happy.
I love seeing Johnny and Haji's like chemistry. It felt just like off the show, where Johnny's just doing something stupid, and Haji's just like, "God damn it, Johnny."
Yeah, like Johnny, we're supposed to be doing this, but yeah, I mean that's one of the Hanna-Barbera comics that I definitely was. For me, the other one would probably be Amanda Connor's Flintstones. I actually want to read that. I'm a big Flintstones fan. So that one actually caught my, and I think it's the Wacky Racers. I'm
gonna give the first issue of Flintstone a try, but Wacky Raceland looks so badass. I have to try Wacky Raceland.
I know next week the Scooby Doo stuff comes out. I don't know about that one.
I'm skipping that one. I'm gonna borrow that one from Corey.
Scooby Doo.
Like Tough Fred?
Yeah, it's called Scooby Doo Apocalypse, and the gang has basically survived a zombie. They're in a post-apocalyptic world where zombies and stuff exist, and they just look really different.
Yep, and they got like tribal tattoo Fred, fucking hipster Shaggy, and Scooby talks with emojis. I'm not about it. Sorry if you are, but I'm not about it.
But that's
that
all
sounds amazing.
that I picked up.
Well, I've got a couple more. I can just breeze through these last four I've got. So this one is the penultimate issue of Poison Ivy's Cycle of Life and Death, and this is written by Annie Wu with art. Is it by Annie Wu? I'm gonna double check. I'm pretty sure it's Annie Wu. Yeah, Annie Wu with art. Annie Chu with art by Clayman. Clayman's artwork is beautiful as always. This is just great stuff. And basically, if you've been following the series, Ivy has created basically children. She's made like plant-human hybrid babies, very much like herself. And because of their plant DNA, their growth has accelerated. So in 6 months, they basically have become like adults, like 20-year-olds. and there are three of them. There's the pink one is Rose, the green one is Thorn, and the red one, like the more one that actually looks more like Ivy, is Hazel. I just call them Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup because that's what they remind me of. Because Rose is the really sweet one that is a mommy's girl. Thorn, obviously you can tell by her name, she's the feisty one that's more rebellious. And then you got Hazel, who's kind of in the middle. She wants to have fun, but like she's also doesn't want to, piss her mom off. But like they've been basically cooped up their entire lives, and basically Ivy's kind of pulled a Rapunzel, and we're like, you're not allowed to leave the apartment. The outside world is scary. They won't accept you. Blah 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 blah. And so basically, the girls wait for Ivy to go to sleep, and they go for a night on the town in Gotham, and it's pretty funny. They end up going to a club. They end up going to a strip club actually, and like one of the guys like assumes that Rose or Thorn is a dancer or whatever, and he goes, he's like, what? No, it's Rose, the little innocent one. He's like, what's your name, sweetie? She's like, Rose. He's like, is that your stripper name or is that your real name? And then like she's like, what can I get you? And she's like, do you have any water? I mean, and she's like, you gotta be kidding. What about something stronger? So he gives her like some whiskey or whatever. She's like, this is gross. It's like this. She's like, and because obviously plants won't take alcohol well. And so like she basically one of the guys, I'll show you this hilarious scene. One of the guys at the club tries to grab ass one of them, and this is what happens to the dude.
Oh
So
man.
it's hilarious. They cause this whole ruckus in the strip club, and each of them has different powers. Thorn has more control over like vines and stuff like that. Hazel can actually create like plant creatures, and Rose has Ivy's persuasion ability. So basically, Ivy busts in, and they're like, "Oh shit, it's mom!" And she's basically like, she does the whole mom routine of girls are grounded, and they end up going back to their room. But then like she's like, there's a disturbance in the green. Something's coming after us, and then throughout this whole series, there's been like a series of deaths that have been around that Ivy's been framed for and all this stuff, and there's been this monster in the background, and then at the end, there's a huge cliffhanger. The monster finally shows itself to Ivy, and it's like, oh shit, it's about to go down. But I really like seeing Ivy going through parenthood. It was just so funny. It felt like a sitcom. I was laughing my ass off this whole time. I really enjoyed this miniseries so far, and I can't wait to see how it ends. I know our friend Kat really thinks this whole plant baby thing is really weird, but I like it. I thought it was pretty fun.
Well, I mean, I that's another. I'm reading it too, but I didn't. It was out of. It's on back order.
Oh, okay.
But I don't mind it because remember, Ivy can't have kids. She can't have children, so she kind of makes her own. I don't mind that. I mean that's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's basically the same thing as like somebody getting in vitro fertilization or something. So yeah, that was pretty fun. The other two I have, I guess, since we just talked about Ivy, it'd be appropriate to talk about her girl next. The latest issue of Harley Quinn, which is basically Harley versus Red Tool, round 2. And I actually talked to Jimmy on Twitter, and Jimmy straight up said, he's like, yeah, I made Red Tool because they wouldn't let me do a Deadpool Harley Quinn crossover. So I created Red Tool. Me and Amanda created Red Tool so we could basically have Deadpool in this comic. And Red Tool is just a fool. Like, he's basically a massive Harley Quinn fan. And he's doing all this crazy shit. He basically sets up a wedding for them. he does a bunch of crazy shit. Like he tattoos his phone number on her ass.
What?
And that's the thing she just constantly keeps repeating. She's like, "You tattooed your phone number on my ass. You tattooed my ass without my permission." She's like, she's like, "I was saving that spot for a tattoo of my own choosing. Thank you very much." And then she was talking about, she's like, "I can't believe you peeked." He's like, "Actually, I didn't peek." And she's like, "Now I'm even more mad. You got a glimpse of all this and you didn't even want to see the whole thing? I'm offended." It's the same usual wacky shenanigans with Amanda and Jimmy's Harley Quinn. It's over the top, it's funny, it's crazy. I don't want to spoil the jokes because it won't be as funny me saying it. You guys have to just read it yourselves. This is just nuts. Oh man, I love this book. I'm glad that Jimmy and Amanda are staying with this book because they really have Harley down as a character. So my last DC book is actually a Vertigo book, and that is Lucifer. What issue is this? Where's the number? I don't even know it. It's number 6. It's number 6.
You put Vertigo with Luke. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I have it too.
So you've got Lucifer too?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's written by Holly Black and art by Hans. Man, this book is fucked up.
Yeah, Stephanie Hans does the. This issue is not Lucifer is not even in this issue at all.
Yeah, it's Lucifer's son, being introduced to his girlfriend's family, who turned out to be a bunch of Satan worshippers. Lucky him.
And the fact is that he wants to take over.
Yep, from Mazikeen, who currently has the crown of hell, and so it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes. I thought this was really dark and twisted. I dig it. This is exactly what I've wanted from a Lucifer comic. I read a lot of Holly Black's regular novels and books, so I figured she'd be the perfect successor to Gaiman's character. I've really dug this series so far. It's nothing like the TV show. For those of you guys who are thinking, "Oh, a Lucifer comic, I really like the TV show. Maybe I should jump on." Nah, it's nothing like the TV show. Just a forewarning for you guys.
Okay. See, I didn't know we were. See, I don't categorize Vertigo with DC. I actually just have it be Vertigo. But all right, if that's the case, then yeah, my last is from Gail herself, and that's Clean Room number 8. This is Gail Simone as always, guys, and once again, can Gail?
Is this series as weird as I've heard?
This series keeps getting trippier and trippier and trippier, and I don't really want to spoil anything. You just gotta read it. Stuff goes down in this. You're just like, what? I had to read wait, what? Wait, okay, let me read that again. And it's basically implying that all the stuff that's been going on from up until issue number 1 is legit. All these things you've been seeing, these demons, is this some kind of ramifications of the clean room, as they call it? Why did these people commit suicide and all it? But yeah, this continues to get just crazy. Gail has something with this title, but I've always told her, I was like, Gail, what the hell are you writing sometimes? This is weird at times. Well, yeah, this is Clean Room number 8.
Sweet. All right, so I guess now we can jump into the indies. So what you got, Chris?
Okay. I guess I'll start off with Action Labs, and we'll start off with Action Verse number 6. This is the Ron Perez variant cover. He
Oh,
drew.
the Spider Girl artist, right?
Yeah, he drew this cover.
Oh,
Uh,
That's a really
Del Santes does a good job with this. The heroes of Actionverse, Molly Danger, Virtue, Midnight Tiger.
I saw in your review, by the way, and I'm glad I wasn't the only one who thought of a laundry detergent when I
Yeah,
read this dude's, or not laundry detergent, dishwasher detergent
yeah,
when I read that
they're in
dude's name.
Chicago. They're in Chicago and they're about to fight this guy right here called Cascade. I'm not joking about that. That's his name, Cascade. Um, just a stupid
That's
name.
a downgrade of a name. How do you go from Malice to Cascade?
Yeah, and the funniest thing is that you got your two powerhouses, Virtue and Molly Danger. Yeah, Molly Danger, she may be like a little girl, but she's like a major powerhouse in this.
She's pretty much Molly Hayes mixed
Yeah,
with Superman.
she's pretty much at Superman like level. And but there's a scene where she's with Virtue, and he's like telling her, okay, we can't fight him. We gotta come with a new plan, uh, some kind of a different plan. And let me see where I can find it, because it was really funny. I thought it was funny. Um, Let me see. Where is it? Where is it? Um, because they're handling Cascade while Stray and Midnight Tiger and Raven is trying to shut off this nuclear bomb that's gonna blow up Chicago. Okay, here there's a Virgil says he's stronger than he looks. Okay, a different tactic would be best. So Molly says, okay, I got you, and she picks him Virtue up and launches him and throws him at the
Oh,
guy.
so like a fastball special. Nice.
Yeah, but no, like literally, like he's more like, hey, what are you doing? Let me go, girl. And she just throws him at her instead of like when Colossus throws
That's
Logan,
pretty funny.
he knows that he knows where he's going. This Virtue didn't know where he literally just gets thrown, and then Cascade catches him and says, uh, he says, "Excuse me, young lady." He drops him and throws Virtue right back at her.
So he pulled a Spider-Man in Civil War.
Yeah, and then of course is the classic oof, that oof. But this was good, and then what I liked about it was showcasing that there's multiverses in the action verse, and we get to see some of the characters of the action verse, some of the heroes older. Like I'll show it to you at the end. You get to see an older Molly Hayes. See Molly Danger. Excuse me,
I
she is
mean,
right
she looks
there.
a lot like Molly Hayes, so that's an easy mix-up.
And you get to see Stray, and look at Midnight Tiger over there.
That
He
is
looks like
badass.
he's fully become a cat or something. It's really funny. Um, as for
Does Stray actually become Doberman in the future, or does
I,
he just
I
stick with
think he
staying
takes
Stray?
on that name, but like I said, the villain, whose real name is Kyle,
wait a minute, what?
is the villain's real name. His name is uh, Kyle Skordaga.
See, Kyle, I knew you moonlighted as a supervillain. You didn't have to hide it from me.
And
I didn't think my name would be of a soap, That's
and he was a pharmacist that turned into a villain. But he goes from being a character, and then he goes from being called, he was in Fracture, and then he turns into this stupid. I just don't like the name. I'm like, that name is stupid. Like,
His first name was really good, and
yeah.
then he went from Malice to Cascade. I don't know how you do that, but you do.
But there's more to come with actual, because this kind of felt like is that it? But then it's like they give us, they tell us no, there's more to come. But then other than that, I got most of my other stuff was from Dynamite, and is Lords of the Jungle.
Yep, got
Um,
that.
Number 3, this is Tarzan and Shina of the Jungle. First of all, the covers by who draws the cover?
Yeah,
These
Um,
covers are
it's a
freaking.
great look.
who just I want to make sure I get it right. The covers,
Let's look.
Roberto Castro. There we go. These covers are beautiful. It's like that's a beautiful cover right there. Um,
It's
and
really
the first 2 issues were interesting because we're still dealing with kind of Tarzan. Remember, he's Lord of the Greystone. He's Lord Greystone, and he but he has some crooked family members that are still around that want to take him out of the equation so they can gain the Greystone fortune. And
Yep.
what it implied was that Tarzan got killed, but he didn't. I'm gonna spoil that. No, Tarzan ain't dead. He's okay. So he meets back up with Sheena, and basically, uh, they
You know, when I
track.
first read this series, I thought she was Sheena the She-Devil from Marvel for a second.
Yeah,
She looks
that's
a lot.
no. It's not yeah. People get that confused. It's not Shauna. It's Sheena of the Jungle. But what was interesting about it was just seeing Tarzan just be Tarzan, and it was like, where's Jane? And I love how they write Jane. That's one thing I like. I love how Corina Biko writes Jane. Like, she's not the damsel in distress. It's like, because once Tarzan comes, her and Tarzan.
It very much reminds me of like what Margot Robbie is trying to do in the Legend of Tarzan movie.
Yeah,
At least from what we see in the trailers.
that's exactly like that kind of way is really cool because she's not really being looked at as being like the damsel in distress. Like, because once Tarzan comes to get her, and they start fighting these guys back to back, and he's just like, Jane, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. And just seeing her, Jane is walloping guys, which is really funny. But it ends kind of like with like a kind of a dun 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 moment of like, okay, what's gonna happen next? But so far, this I don't know if this is a mini or not, but this has been really fun.
I thought it said out of 5 somewhere in like I think somewhere in here. It seemed, but I think it is though. I'm pretty sure it is.
So what's this crossing over with? What is this?
It's just Tarzan and Sheena crossing over.
Okay.
Because
All right.
Sheena is from
Cool.
modern times and Tarzan is from like the 1800s,
Yeah,
like late 1800s.
so,
And like
Okay.
she
Cool.
she somehow like in the first issue she like falls through a portal that sends her back in time,
so
and she
Okay.
ends up meeting Cheetah,
yeah,
Tarzan's monkey
yeah,
Cheetah.
yeah. She befriends Cheetah, and at one point he's all mad about it. He's like, "No, Cheetah's Tarzan's friend." I'm like, "Don't have him talk like that." I was like, "Don't have him talk like that." Like, but it was fun, and it reminded me of that Tarzan commercial, where
Oh,
he's like,
Tarzan Go, where
yeah, that one. I'm like, I
Tarzan
hate
Go.
when Tarzan talk like that. Like, don't have him talk like that. And the next is
No, Tarzan King of Jungle.
Marjorie Bennett. Of course, is Red Sonja. Number 5.
Oh yeah, I've got. Oh, where is it? Uh, there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Marjorie Bennett. Once again, no relation, guys, to me.
I think this one is also. This one. No, I thought it was. Oh yeah, it is also drawn by Marguerite Sauvage. So this is literally the same team from Bombshells. That's cool.
and I'm not gonna spoil too much in this one, guys, but seeing Sonya capture a creature and mount it up
Holy shit, that was cool.
like, whoa, that was pretty cool. Because most of her people, are gonna try to exile the king, who's a real dick, and he basically has made like replacements of her and like all these actresses that have come on to take her role, and it's just like, but you can't fool most of the people of I'm forgetting.
Hi Rekka?
Yeah,
Hi
something like that. Harley
Hi.
Quinn or something like that. But basically, a lot of people know that that's not the real Sonya. Um, and she's gonna. The end of it was really cool because you just see her.
Yeah, and her friend like has a really clever way of exposing the truth about Sonya using theater. I thought that was
Yeah,
really cool.
but just seeing her with this legendary creature, I was just like, oh man, that's cool. I'm not gonna spoil it though. It was cool.
That was pretty badass. The fact that she actually got mounted that thing was just
Yeah, she not
whoa.
only did she mount it, she caught it. Like she hunted it down and caught it. I was like, and there were times I'm like, I don't know how she survived being attacked by it. I was like, man. And the other uh, Dynamite book I got is Xena, Warrior Princess. Don't do that.
What
uh,
just happened?
Come on,
um,
man. I had to at least once. That's
uh,
the only time I'm gonna do it. I promise.
Oh,
Guinevere,
oh, that little.
yeah,
Yeah.
Guinevere Valentine is the writer, and Ariel Mendel is the artist. Um, I I like Blue Goblin said, because I did read the first issue. I really wished they didn't take this series didn't take place at this point in time in the
Yeah,
series.
they placed it at like the where the series was in like a downturn because like this is where they set it in like the future with the more Christian stuff. So
Yeah,
we won't actually get to see like Hercules and the gods are dead. So you won't get to see any interactions from Ares or Cupid or Aphrodite, which is like the best parts of the show.
yeah, like that was kind of the part I did not like is like I really wish they didn't set it when they what was that season 6, probably like the last season or
Yep.
so when basically yeah they started bringing all the Christianity stuff into the fold where you were dealing with Michael the angel and all that stuff, and when basically Xena killed all the Olympians. Um, but in this issue alone, Xena and Gabrielle are basically surrounded by these warrior women, all from different areas and all from different maybe people, tribes. Some Amazons, some are not. Um, but they all have one thing in common: Rome has taken their taking their land and everything like that, and they're attacking Xena and Gabrielle because they believe Xena is like a friend to Rome and all that, but she's telling them,
And also without the god's protection, they're kind of helpless against Rome in the first place. So they kind of also are angry at Xena for killing the gods.
yeah, and you get to see Xena and Gabrielle just really do kind of a Batman and Robin, like they're just taking on these girls and doing work, you know. Uh, I always thought it was cool to see Gabrielle with the size because I always thought that was really cool. I've always said it, Gabrielle went from being this annoying character at first,
Yeah.
and then she became the queen of the Amazons, and then she learned how to use a bow staff, and then she went into kind of Hinduism where she was more about peace and never trying to hurt people, and then she turned it around and now she uses size. So she had if you watch the show back, she had a lot of character growth. Gabrielle did, um, but in this issue alone, it was just good to see that there are a lot of name drops in this from the series. If you remember some of them, some of the
Mm.
people are related or were taught by people that Xena knew. One I will give you, like for example, um, the Chinese woman that she met called Lao Ma, who kind of taught her kind of to find inner peace at one point. Uh, we get to you get a name drop of that. Um, you even get a name drop of one of Xena's former lovers, and it's not Hercules, Boreas. You get to hear his name in there.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So it was this was fine.
Excuse me.
It's just that, like I said, I really don't like the fact that it takes place in a time when I really wish it didn't take place. You know, I really wish it didn't. But I'll show you one. I just want to show you where Xena and Gabrielle just handling themselves. Um,
Oh, where they're standing all back to back and stuff.
yeah, that's the one I like. This big full spread right here. And you can see that. It's really cool. And there's some dynamite stuff that I want to show you guys that definitely you will see soon. One of them is the Lone Ranger and Green Hornet book that's coming out. Basically, for all those who don't know this, Green Hornet is related to the Lone Ranger. Lone Ranger is his great uncle. Britt Reed. For those who don't know, the Lone Ranger's real name is John Reed, and what's the Green Hornet's name? Britt Reed. So yeah, they're related, and of course, then there's also this, because I'm a big fan of this character too. Is the Shadow, the death of Margot
I'm looking
Lane.
forward to getting that.
This is going to be completely written and illustrated by Matt Wagner. He's going to do the writing and the artwork. For all those who don't know, the Shadow, Margot Lane is probably one of his biggest allies and has always been by his side. And to know that she's going to die, I'm like, whoa, okay, that's kind of tough. Well, yeah, those are two series. Oh, well, these are probably, I think the Death of Margot Lane is a mini. I'm not sure about Lone Ranger Green Hornet. Because most of the time, guys, you got to, with Dynamite, they don't really go with too much into ongoings with a lot of stuff. A lot of it is mini-series or so. But that's what keeps, and I think they have a good thing going with that, because that gets people wanting more of these characters.
Yeah, I think the only ongoings they have going are the female books.
Yeah, but that was good. This was fine. Like I said, the only complaint I have is just the time where they set it. And the last indie book I have is from, I always had trouble finding what is Rothic. Yeah, Rothic Comics. There you go. And it's called Rem 8.
Oh, nice.
Good picture of this. Basically, this takes place in the future, where humans have become like techno-organic in a sense, but not everybody is like that. This character here is an abnormality, as they call her. She's just 100% human, but it follows more of a Asian culture. The artwork is really, really beautiful. You get a good look at this. This dragon in the back.
Oh wow, that's nice.
And the paper is like, it's not like that traditional like comic paper. It's really different. And what I can tell you, because I don't want to spoil, I'll show you some more. Like, you can see this big. That's the main character.
Whoa, that is beautiful. Dang.
You know, you watch her get really beat up by some of the other people around her. The one thing I will say, guys, this is not for kids to be reading. I thought it was just a regular book, and then I started seeing tatas and boobies. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is not for kids. And so I'm like, yeah, this is not for kids. But it was really good. You really feel for the character of what is her name? Takore Su, I believe that's her name. Like, you see her lover get killed right in front of her, like slit throat.
Oh, man.
Oh, I was like, oh my god. But this was good. and it's called Rem 8. It's just the first issue, but the cover is just really pretty, and the artwork is pretty. I'll show you some more, like there's some more like calligraphy art, like you can see right there, more dragons.
That is great.
But yeah, that's all the indie I have.
Nice.
Not indie, so.
Yep, I think I've got like three more indies. So I'll start off with the one Dynamite book I've got. Deja Thoris, issue number 4. This book is really good, and I actually haven't read too much into the John Carter stuff. I've read like maybe one or two of the novels, so I wasn't too familiar with the stuff, but I really got into this series after the first issue. I was pretty much hooked. It's written by Frank J. Barberi, and Francisco Manna does the art. And basically, in this issue, Deja has left the capital city of Mars, Helium, to basically discover who she really is, because it turns out she was actually adopted by the king, and she's not the true princess of Mars. So she's trying to figure out where she comes from, and she's actually discovering more about like the impoverished people of Mars and the people outside of the capital city and how they live their lives and the struggles they have to go through. She joins a militia in an attempt to get to like her apparently her real family's hometown to discover the secrets of her past, and she keeps having these visions warning her not to go there. And it's pretty cool stuff. They get captured. Her and her platoon get captured, and they end up becoming like slaves to this one chick. I'm gonna try to find an image of her. What does she look like? Where's the chick that's controlling them? Basically, this chick right here. And you see in this image, she like swears her loyalty to her, just so that she can like lure her into a false sense of security. And basically, the issue ends with her revealing to her captor that she's the princess of Mars, and then the person who basically orchestrated this coup is basically telling everyone in the capital city to go after anyone who opposes his rule, including John Carter and Deja Thoris, who have escaped from the city. So there's going to be a manhunt for John Carter and his wife, starting with the end of this issue. Really good stuff. For someone who wasn't into John Carter to begin with, because literally my only exposure is maybe one book in that shitty Disney movie. So I really enjoyed this. I dig it. Next up, I'll go with Image, and we'll go to my favorite Robert Kirkman book, Invincible, issue number 128. If you guys watched the first episode of Comic Convo, I talked about issue number 127 in the first episode, and the last issue, 127, had me in tears because this is the first time. Because basically Mark was kind of trapped in time, and so when he came back, 4 years had passed, and he basically missed his daughter growing up. And when his daughter, last issue he met his daughter for the first time. She's like a little 5-year-old, and when he sees her, he just breaks down and cries. He's like, "I'm sorry. I said I was gonna be there for you, and I was gone. I'm sorry." And she says, "It's okay, Daddy. I still love you." And it really got to me. Like that type of family reunion type stuff always gets the waterworks for me. And it's kind of similar stuff going on in here, because basically you find out that Mark's wife, in the 4 years he was gone, because she thought he was dead, and rightfully so, she actually was in a relationship, and of course Mark doesn't blame her for it, but he tells her she doesn't have to rush into anything, and Mark is doing the best he can to spend time with his daughter, little Tara, and she's just such a cute kid, and I loved them having their family time and just actually really kind of building up their family again, and Mark is finally happy. And then he realizes, wait a minute, it's been I've been gone for 5 years. I haven't told my parents I'm still alive. So basically, they're going to end up going back to Earth, but it turns out Earth is about to be invaded. So Mark might have to put his cape back on because he retired from being invincible when his daughter was born. But now, since his parents are in trouble, looks like he might have to put the cape back on. I'm really interested to see what's going on here.
Okay, cool. All right. So Mark is no longer on Earth anymore.
Oh yeah, because of because of Robot taking over Earth in a couple arcs ago, Eve, and Terra left Earth to live on another planet because they were basically wanted fugitives. And so he raised his daughter on another planet, but he wants to check on his parents, so that his parents know that he's still alive because he's been missing for 4 years. And then, it shows that Earth is about to be invaded again. And Mark has been retired from being invincible for a while, and it's about to, let's just say shit's about to hit the fan. I don't want to spoil everything, but shit is really about to hit the fan. I love this series. This is way better than The Walking Dead. I mean, no offense to Walking Dead fans, but I love this series. This has so much heart. I mean, that's all I can really say. It's definitely one of my favorites in terms of Image books. All right, so moving on from Image to one that Chris added to my Midtown poll that I had no idea what this was about, and then I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, shit. This is called Unleashed, and this is from Amigo Comics. This is Unleashed #1. Man, you want to talk about fucked up? I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. This book is really, really, really fucked up. Chris said his book wasn't for kids. This right here, this is definitely not for kids. Who is this? Who is the art done by? So it's written by Jennifer Van Gisel and L. Torres, and the art is by Nacho Terencino and Sergio Mora. And basically, this story you see on the cover here, there's this girl who is actually, I don't know what I think her name, I don't think they mentioned what her actual name is, but she's a sexual assault survivor. And basically, what she's doing here, you see this guy wrapped up in the mummy bandages here? Basically, she goes around and she confronts rapists that have gotten away with it. And she uses this guy here, this mummy-looking dude, and she calls him the rape machine. And she basically...
Wait. What?
She calls him, the rape machine.
Rape machine.
The rape machine. Cause that's what she calls other sex offenders as well. It's like you're just a bunch of rape machines. And basically what she does is she goes after sex offenders and rapists Punisher style, but instead of killing them, she has this guy rape them, and it's like what? I know. It's like what the fuck? I was sitting here like this is some sick twisted shit, but I'm like I couldn't stop reading it.
What?
I'm not gonna show you any of those parts, but the artwork in here is really, really good. It's really dark and gritty, and it actually shows some flashbacks of when she was attacked, but they change it to black and white for those parts, and that's a really cool effect. But oh my god, what the fuck? I don't. There's no other phrase to describe it, but damn.
Oh my god. I'm never gonna say that's a love machine anymore without hearing rape machine in the back of my head. Just
it's crazy, man. It's off the rails nuts, and I'm gonna spoil this one little twist. It's the ending, but again, I can't get over how fucked up this is. It turns out this girl is actually the police chief's daughter.
Oh.
And it's Oh my god! And that's how she actually has access to the records of like who are these like rapists that got released and like got away with it or whatever. Turns out she's the police chief's daughter because at the end of the issue, she has this guy. The police chief has this former gang member who's gonna basically infiltrate like listen in and be his informant to find out who this like new hitman is that's like raping and killing these convicted rapists or whatever. They get released, and like he ends up getting a call from his daughter, and it's like, we should have lunch sometime, baby. It's like, and then it just flips to the girl in the house after the rapist is killed, and she's like, sure, daddy, how does three sound? I'm just getting done with work.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, fuck.
So this is like Dexter. This is like Dexter in comic form.
Dude, this is freaking nuts. This is like Jessica Jones ramped up to like 2000. Like,
god damn, the rape machine. Oh.
Yeah, that right there caught me off guard. That she uses that guy to. Oh my god.
Yeah, and like this dude is wrapped in like mummy bandages or whatever, and she like has him on like a leash, like he's a fucking dog. And it's so fucking weird. It's so dark, but I can't stop reading it.
Oh my god.
Wait,
Moving on.
Anyway,
The Marvel side.
Wait, hold on. I got one more, and this one isn't dark. Don't worry. It's from Oh my bad. Kyle, you were gonna say something before I talk about this last indie book.
Yeah, I said, so Chris sent that to you?
Yeah,
right?
I had no idea it was that dark. I had no idea it was like that.
Yeah, Chris added it. No, Chris added it to the Midtown poll. Midtown has a little summary to it. So I read the summary just so I know what it's about, and like it mentioned the whole sexual assault thing, and it mentioned she was gonna bring her own brand of justice to convicted sex offenders. And I was like, oh, so she's gonna go punish her and like kill them or whatever. All right.
Yeah, that's how I thought it was gonna be. I didn't know it was gonna be like that.
No, I didn't. I didn't know either. But man, what the hell? I was a little scarred mentally there. But honestly, the book did its job. Like I tweeted them. I tweeted the creative team, and I'm like, this is some sick, twisted, fucked up shit. But honestly, it's fascinating as hell.
It kind of reminds me, just what you're saying. There was this game Dashy played called Never-Ending Horror Story, where it's like a nightmare he woke up from every time, and there was like things where like he would pull out his veins and like it just really fucked up shit. It just kind of reminds me of that.
But dude, like no, and like you. Like the thing is, like I didn't show you any of the bad parts. They're like they actually show like the guy going after one of these rapists, and it's just like I felt really uncomfortable.
Sick, man. I had no idea it was that bad.
But I'm gonna finish out this series. Like this is too twisted not to know how this ends. Like. I gotta know how this ends, but like, damn, this is some fucked up shit. Anyway, moving on to Zenoscope, gotta give a shout out to my boy Pat Shand for Hell Child issue number 3. Basically, this series deal is kind of a spin-off to Van Helsing because basically Marion and Lysel Van Helsing accidentally resurrect Hades' daughter, Angelica, and but they resurrect her into a vampire body, so she's kind of a vampire and a demigod at the same time. And basically, she ends up getting captured by this Viking vampire dude, and by the end of it, she ends up teaming up with the guy, and she's like, we have one common enemy, Hades. If you're trying to kill my father, I want in. And that's basically like where the issue ends. Like, holy crap, this series is building up really nicely. It's a mini, and apparently it's going to lead into other stuff that Pat's doing from what Pat's been saying on Facebook.
Yeah,
So,
I've been watching it too. He's
yeah,
definitely got something coming. It's like an event coming. I think that's his last work
yep.
for Uniscope.
And
Um,
I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really, really looking forward to the Robin Hood annual next week. Man, Marion getting married and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm glad we ended Indies on a better note than that.
yeah.
Yeah. And
But
Uh,
but yeah, let's go ahead and go to Marvel. I've only got three, so so Kyle, you can take it from here since you haven't been able to jump in yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I might have to get my memory wiped after hearing about the Rage Machine, but okay.
Oh my god.
Okay. So this book, I don't know if Chris's opinion on it, but I talked to Jeremy about it. Civil War 2, issue 0. I hope you can see that cover. By Brian Michael Bendis and Oliver Capelli. It's a really gorgeous cover. This is really great, really nice looking. So I'll say this: I didn't really need this event. I didn't really want it, but there was some good stuff I was hearing about this going in, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. We'll see. It could be better. And surprisingly, this was really dialogue-driven, really character-driven. There's no action in this at all. The first Civil War alienated a lot of fans. This doesn't alienate me at all. Like, no one's a bad person. Everyone is extremely well-written, and no one's out of character. The only people that are in the issue are Rhodey, Jennifer, She-Hulk, of course, Carol, and the new Inhuman, who's going to be kind of the, I guess you say, plot device to get the heroes fighting, Ulysses.
don't forget
And
that.
Bendis does a great job of kind of gradually going into each character's kind of scenes, or I guess you could say moments in the book. I don't know, like, this was just really good. Like, we set this foundation for what this event was going to be. The book opens with She-Hulk talking in a courtroom, kind of setting the theme for the entire book. Carol gets her motivations set up, and I told Jeremy this. I don't know whose side I'm on. Like, if this is how it's going to be, I don't know whose side I'm on. Rhodey gets an interesting offer. To be Secretary of Defense and then work his way up to be President. And I thought Rhodey was going to die in this. I really did. I thought he was going to be the catalyst, and he wasn't. So Bendis, I don't care if you kill the other president, the comic president, like not Obama.
Not Obama. That's what Joel called him in his review. Not Obama, President, not Obama.
Yeah. Yeah, like that'd be really cool. Like I don't know if Rhodey's had something as big as that in like recent years in Iron Man, but do that, Bendis. I'd love to have Rhodey be like the president. That'd be like a really cool thing for that character. But yeah, it was a really great start. And the only thing Bendis needs to do to make sure this is a great event is give me Iron Man's side, make it convincing. Give me a good enough reason why they're going to fight each other, and make sure everyone's in character. That's the important thing you need to do at this event. I don't want to have Carol out of character and she's completely evil. I don't want, especially Tony. Tony's become a really lovable character nowadays, so don't do that. But yeah, this was a fantastic start. I'll be curious to see what you think, Chris. But my first question to you is, did you think the artwork felt like very cinematic, like just how Oliver Capelli was drawing? It felt like a movie almost.
Capelli is one of my favorite artists, so when he brings his art, he always is kind of going for that kind of dramatic feel. So I was never scared of the artwork. You know, he drew when I think JMS was writing Thor. He was doing Thor with JMS. So I was always loving Capelli's artwork. I loved how he drew Jennifer. You know, especially in the courtroom. Something about Jen when she's in her suit is just like, oh, you think she's cute?
I think it's the glasses.
Yeah, the glasses. You know, I thought it was great. you're missing one character. We did get to see Doc Samson in this. I was like, whoa.
Oh yeah, Doc Samson.
You haven't seen.
And they joked around about him being dead, right? Because he
Yeah,
was dead.
yeah, he was dead. I'm like, what?
I guess Secret Wars brought him back.
Yeah, and uh, besides the whole situation with Rhodey, I thought that was pretty cool. I'm like, Rhodey could move up. This could escalate him to a good forefront. I've always said I've never considered Rhodey Tony's sidekick. I've always said that. I've always said he's his own character. Yeah, he has a suit like Iron Man, but he's not like Tony. He's more military based. Definitely, they're going more of him staying with the military and him working his way up. I thought that was cool. Probably my biggest thing was in this is seeing She-Hulk jump from all the way where she was up onto the helicarrier. I was like, I forgot she could do that. And I thought that was like, you just see there's a spread of her. You see the helicarrier, and you just see somebody coming through the clouds, and you just see her jump off. I was like, whoa.
Oh yeah. Also, I looked at a couple pages of this from a code I got from a friend, and from the case, it seemed like they were accusing Jester of murder, but She-Hulk said he didn't commit any murder. Didn't he kill Scott Lang? Didn't he murder Scott Lang?
He didn't. This was more what he's being on trial for is kind of like I think it was what was it, FBI, CIA, or something like that, where like.
Oh, okay. Because then he must have already served time for killing Scott. Because I know he killed Scott at one point.
Because. I'm sorry.
But the thing is that he died. Because Maria tells Jessica like, yeah, he's dead, and she kind of felt like really bad for it. She's like, because he was innocent, but seeing the new Inhuman, what was weird about it is that you got all these kids out here. I guess they were in Cleveland. Yes, it was on campus, on a college campus, and they're all out here, and almost like they were waiting for the Terrigen to come. And you see them like, it's coming, it's coming, and then there's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get turned, and not all of them get turned except for a couple of them, and then just seeing what this kid does, I was just like, what? That was probably the only thing I did not like was the ending. It was like, okay, this just felt like Hartford or Stanford all over again. I'm like, couldn't there have been like a better way of going into like the forefront of this new war or whatever? That was probably the only thing I did not like.
My question is, did you thought it was actually that actually happened, or because that didn't?
That's kind of my question. Is like, did it happen, or is it just in this kid's head?
It's in his head because his power goes off and he just is staring, and it's kind of like Dead Space, the Dead Space games where Isaac flipped out and was in this weird demonic place. And he's just kind of seeing this future explosions and stuff like that. I think what was it, New York? Was it?
Okay, so it didn't happen. Okay, yeah. So that did not happen.
Yeah.
He was basically having a That's So Raven vision.
Yeah, exactly, because that's what the event seems to be about, kind of like Minority Report or I told Jeremy the discussion Steve Rogers and Nick Fury have when they're talking about security versus freedom. We're going to neutralize a lot of threats before they ever happen, and Steve's like, I thought the punishment came after the crime. This isn't freedom, this is fear. And Carol's all about stopping things before they happen. She solves the impossible with the Ultimates, and Jennifer's kind of like what Steve says in that movie. It's it has the crime becomes after the punishment. The punishment comes after the crime. Excuse me. Just because you talk shit doesn't mean anything. Because that was what the Jester was in court for. Got arrested for. He was just talking shit, as she said. He didn't go through with it. But that's kind of what I'm getting from the event so far.
Okay. So my Okay, because am I echoing?
No, not to me.
Do you have the video playing or something, Kyle? Uh,
No, I don't. No.
that's weird.
Okay, because I thought like that really happened. I was like, okay, so this is just this head because there's one point the boy he sees like this flying demon coming at him. Like, okay, what the hell? Like, did he summon that? I'm like, okay, but yeah, it was a good start. I'm not I'm not hyped for this because I didn't like the first one. I'm just hoping that this one does something different and hopefully Bendis can stay consistent because this is Bendis writing it, not someone else. I think he's just going to be writing it, so hopefully he can stay consistent. Keep
I'm gonna just completely skip out on this one, guys. Y'all can take this. I've got Marvel event fatigue.
um, and
I
keep
kind of need it.
keep Capelli on the artwork because it's really good. Definitely. So
Marquez
yeah.
is
Well,
doing this
Marquez
too,
is,
right?
Huh?
yeah, Marquez is doing the rest of it. So
Oh, okay. So, but yeah, it's good stuff. Uh,
yeah,
okay.
you want me to keep going
Okay.
or what?
Go ahead, Kyle. We've talked enough. Go ahead, you got this.
Okay.
Just if it's something that you don't have, I'll just.
Okay. So all right. So this is my favorite female character. Spider Woman. What is this? What is this? Number 7? I think this is number 7. This is part 7 of Spider Women, written by Dennis Hopeless with artwork by Julie Jones. And I have to say, can Julie Jones just stay on this book?
Joella Jones' artwork is great. As much as I love Rodriguez, her artwork is awesome.
Mm-hmm. And this issue kind of is the fight finally between Earth 65 version of Jessica Drew, who is Jessie Drew, and her. And apparently, we've named the baby. We've also named the baby.
That's right.
His name's Jerry Drew, which is a pretty good name.
I was excited because that's an MT2 shout out, and I called that too. I said that in my review on the Marvel Report for the issue when the baby was born. Like I think it was number 5. I was like, they got to name the baby Jerry because that was Jessica's son in the MC2 universe.
Mm-hmm. And but these two characters have a little bit of a scuffle and they fight. This version of Jessica Drew is really cool. If I can just say, he's just like they're fighting and the baby whines. She's like, can you give me a moment? Yeah, sure. Like, and he's just like, whatever. He's like, look, I was here with your family for like a couple of days. I don't want anything to do with it. Like, he's kind of like a sympathetic villain, I guess you could say, because he's just doing this to stay alive.
I don't even see him as a villain. I really kind of just see him as like more of an anti-hero type of thing, because like he doesn't want to be a bad guy per se, but he doesn't want to be a hero either, because he doesn't.
Don't say that. Don't do that, because all that stuff reminded me of was, I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a good guy. Oh, don't stop.
No, it's mostly the reason I say that is because like he doesn't want to be like a villain, but he also doesn't see the point of being a hero for free. You know what I mean? Like just doing it to do it.
Yeah, and also because Silk 65 version has like this thing where she gives him a dose every day to keep him alive, which she's been lying about because Gwen finds out that it's like
because he's been thinking he's been having radiation poisoning the whole time from the treatment that gave him his abilities, but it turns out he's been okay.
Yeah, and apparently he's going to be siding with Jessica and Gwen, and I don't know where the hell Silk is going to be because in her books, like she looked like she was just going to be going rogue with Black Cat, so whatever.
That was a little weird, yeah.
She's like, okay, I'm going to go rogue, so we'll see. She'll probably pop in the Omega, the final part to this, but overall, I told Jeremy this. I think this, and this is not a biased thing. I think the Spider-Woman issues are the best thing for this whole crossover. They're the strongest.
I agree,
character.
and I really like the whole issue with where Jessica went to Jesse's house, and his wife literally pulls a shotgun on her, and is just like, "What the fuck are you doing in my house? How'd you get in? How'd you get in here?" Like, I mean, she let her in the first place, but she's like, "All right, what the fuck are you doing here? Why do you look so much like my husband? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you after my family?" And stuff like that, and that's all reasonable stuff. And then when she finds out about Jesse being a super spy or whatever, she ends up giving Jessica a bag of guns, and she's just like, "Take these out of the house. I don't want these around the kids."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
I thought
it was a really good.
I thought
Sorry.
one of the parts that I liked was Gwen enters and she punches Jesse and she puts his hand on his jaw. He's like, "Oh my God! Like, is that what it feels like when you punch somebody without spider strength?" It was so funny. I was like, "No, you just don't know how to punch." You don't know how to punch. I guess you don't know how to punch without spider powers. Like, it was just so funny. And they showed an X-ray of it too, which made it even funnier. I was like, "What is it? Mortal Kombat?"
That's what I thought of too. Mortal Kombat X.
That was so great. I can't wait until this book just goes back to being its own thing. Like, we're gonna have some Civil War II crossover stuff, I guess, next issue. So, but this run has just been more focused, I think, for Dennis Hopeless, and it's a lot better than the first one he did. Not that the first one was bad. It's just he's very much more focused. It's what I want from Spider-Woman. So, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely my second favorite thing of the week. You guys want to do one, or because I'm going to go to Spider-Man.
I've got one that I don't know if either of you two read. Let me find it. I mean, I'm not going to pull it up on my phone because my screen's really tiny, so I don't think you guys will be able to see it. But it's Star-Lord issue number 7. And I told Kyle about this during the last episode of Comic Convo we did, the one where he kept lagging out. I think that was episode 2 when I covered this last time, when I covered issue 6. But pretty much last episode, Kitty and Peter find themselves on a relationship game show hosted by the Collector, broadcasted on intergalactic TV. And basically, it's kind of a Dr. Phil type of deal, I guess, because like the Collector is trying to figure out why they broke up and like what the problem is with their relationship and to see if they can fix things. And man, it actually, and Humphreys actually does a really good job with this because he was the one that established their relationship in the first place. So I love what they do here because Peter's kind of a dick to her in this a little bit because when the Collector's like, say what's on your mind or say what's on your mind or whatever, at first Peter and Kitty are like, let's just play along, get this over with, and then we'll be out of here. But then Peter ends up actually fully getting everything off of his chest, and he's like, Kitty, you just seem like you always come off kind of like a pretender. She's like, it's like the whole reason you wanted to be Star-Lord wasn't because of me. It was because you wanted to fit in with my friends and you wanted everybody to like you. Not everyone is going to like you, Kitty, and that's okay. I should have been enough for you. And it's like my love should have been all you needed, and that kind of stuff. It was basically stuff along those lines. And Kitty was really hurt, obviously, because that was really mean. But then and she has the opportunity to leave the show and to just leave Peter in general. But she decides because she's like, you know what? No, I really do. He has a point, but I really do, and I really do love him. I want to make this work. So you know what? I'm gonna stay. And there's this funny bit. There's this hilarious bit where Peter is trying to call Groot and Rocket through the communicator in his boots. So he's clicking his heels together while the collector is talking or whatever, he's like, guys, Mayday, Mayday, and like their phones, and it cuts to Groot and Rocket, and the phone's ringing, and they just ignore it, and you see them playing like basically the hologram chess that Chewie and Han were playing in Star Wars, and that's what they're doing while the show's going on, and they have the show in the background while they're playing chess. It was a really fun issue. I like that they're actually solving their relationship problems, because Bendis isn't really dealing with that in Guardians right now. So
Right.
I'm glad it's being dealt with somewhere.
I'll get it. Okay. Okay. This is one probably that you guys are not reading, so I'll do it. We're going Uncanny Avengers #9. This is the first arc. This is the next new story arc called "The Man Who Fell to Earth," and Dugan, and we have Larix does the artwork. Okay, this picks up right pretty much after the events of Pleasant Hill. You know,
Yeah.
Steve is back now, fully back in the team as Captain America. You know, and the first beginning is pretty cool because we see Rogue goes to Nolans and she runs into a friendly face, Remy LeBeau,
Oh, nice.
and she's down there and she wants to know from Rogue. Rogue wants to know, you got him down there with some other fellow thieves, and basically there was one thing I wanted to. She's like, okay, we need to talk, Remy, and he's like, it's not exactly a best time, Rogue. Can we chat after business? Let us meeting, and then one of his associates is like, what the hell, man? And he's like, oh, I wouldn't speak to her like that. He's like, what the hell is this, man? And then Rogue just flicks him, plop, and he goes flying, and he just goes. You know, she still has Wonder Man's powers, so she just blink, and she's like, "I told you." So basically, Rogue is asking Remy, "Were you in Bengala? You know, were you in Bangalore?" And he's like, "I haven't been there in years." And basically, we find out it's going back to that issue before where Rogue thought she was with Remy, which. That was actually the Red Skull using Professor Xavier's powers to mess with her head. And then, of course, you know, here's Remy trying to get a smooch on Rogue, as always. And she's like, no, not this time. And Rogue actually blows Remy's bus. You know, she sets off the alarm, and then he's all like, the hell is, but the biggest thing is Rogue gets an alert that that there's a something fallen to Earth. So Rogue flies out there to see it, and it crash lands, and I'm gonna show you guys who it is.
Oh
Get
boy.
ready.
Pimtron.
It's Hank Pym or Pimtron has returned. Fully, he's fully like one with Ultron, and Hank's like, it's nice to see a friendly face. You know, he's like, I'm grateful that intelligent apes haven't taken over this over since I has been out in space. And Rogue's like, what the hell are you wearing? Like, she literally is like, what the hell are you wearing? And then she's like, oh. And he's like, oh, this is it's Ultron. We merged. And right there, it's just like Rogue is like, what the hell? And she's like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And of course, we get to see what Steve and some of the other team members are doing there, and they're in a reservation, and you got some hunters trying to kill animals and stuff, and Steve I don't know how he throws this new shield, but he's throwing it around like it's nothing. I'm like, and it's like coming back, and he's catching it. But you see him and Deadpool together, and then of course everybody comes to see Hank. Hank comes down, and Steve's just like he's like Hank, it's good to see you. And he's like, your eulogy was beautiful. I'm like, what the hell? And then basically, the way Hank is talking, it's almost like symbiotic. He's like saying we, and then Steve's like, who's we? And then of course Brother Voodoo, he teleports the rest of the team, and then of course everybody. Some of the people are not really trusting of this. Hank with Ultron, and Deadpool being Deadpool, like when the hell did this happen and shit like that, and they're like, take it off, Hank, take it off, and I'm gonna show you guys right now. Look, when Hank takes it off, he's not even flesh anymore. Like only the upper body is
That is
flesh.
so weird.
And and then of course when Hank puts back on Ultron, he says, this is the first thing Hank says: I haven't had a hamburger in months. I'm starving. And it's like, what the hell? So, and then of course he flies off, and then he's telling everybody, I'll meet you at the mansion. And that's when Steve tells Rogue to fly after him. Basically, keep an eye on him, and I'll show you some other stuff. And that's where, Steve starts telling some of the Unity Squad what happened to Hank, and Brother Voodoo's not really, trusting of it. He's kind of like, who's really in control? Who's in control? And of course, Steve has to break it to Janet. And here's Janet right here. And he's about to break it to Janet, like, Hank's back. Hank's alive. And
speaking of Uncanny Avengers and Janet, what happened to Alex and Janet's whole thing?
oh, you mean, yeah, they kind of after the whole Alex, yeah, they kind of flipped that.
Cause weren't they together? And
Yeah.
They had a future baby.
Yeah, it died.
Yeah, last thing I remember, this last arc I remember reading from Uncanny Avengers while I was still reading it was when they were in the future and they had a kid, and they were actually happy and stuff. But then Alex got inverted and kidnapped her and stuff.
The thing about it now is, it's kind of sucks because when Hank goes back to the mansion, he finds that the mansion it's kind of been turned into like a tourist attraction now. He's like, this is a race.
So like the Flash Museum almost, kind of like how the Flash Museum is.
This was our home, and pretty much Rogue is telling him, yeah, it's an expensive piece of Manhattan real estate, Hank. We couldn't hold on to everything. Rogue's kind of telling him, like, yeah, we couldn't hold on to everything, and basically he kind of says he's like, where's my memorial? And I'm thinking, oh shit, what's gonna happen? And Rogue does show Hank his memorial. He has a memorial, and he blows it up. Actually, he's like, I'm not dead. Just blows it up.
What the heck?
And then and he's like, and then he just flips out and he just like, oh boy, that was stupid. And it's like, and it's almost like he flips a switch like this.
So he's bipolar now?
It's like, but he's like, yeah, I'm alive. And he says, he's like, okay, yeah, but I really feel good. And he's like, and you see like Stan Lee has a cameo here, like he's a cleanup guy, says, what the hell? And then he just, and then Hank says, I'm sorry about the mess, he says, send the bill to Deadpool, and it was pretty funny. But he's like, yeah, Hank Pym is back, but I don't know. I'm not believing that Hank is fully in control. I think he's just is
No.
something that's gonna bring this like monster out of him. You know,
He's
he don't
gotta
merge
he's
with
gotta meet his daughter eventually too, because they hinted at that in the last issue of All New All Different Avengers.
Yeah, they I feel that Hank Ultron is still there, and
Oh yeah.
it's
Definitely.
and it's definitely gonna bring. But you know, seeing that Hank is back, you know, it was always implied that he was coming back because in the first issue of Uncanny that they showed him in outer space, and I was like, oh, okay, he's coming back. And for anybody who's never want to know like what's going on, how that happened, you got to read the graphic novel for that.
Yep, Rage of Ultron.
The Age of Ultron.
Yeah, Rage of Ultron by Rick Remender. I have to say, Chris, for you talking about that book, that sounds really good. Like, if that, let me know if that arc continues to be really good, because I think that sounds really good. Like just with Ultron and everything like that. So,
Yeah, I stick with Uncanny because there are characters on there that's the only place I can read them. Rogue being the main one. I can't read Rogue anywhere. No, she's not in any other books.
That's the only reason I'm reading Star-Lord and I'm reading Guardians is because this is the only books where I can read Kitty.
You know, so you know, I mean, I like Cable, but yeah, he's on the team, and you know, Deadpool's Deadpool, and Johnny. That's not the only book I can read Johnny in either, but yeah, he's there. Okay, so you want to go to another book that we all read, you know, for our conference?
I guess I'll ask this before. I guess maybe I might tackle the one we all don't read before we go to the ones we all do. I don't, unless you know who you is.
All right.
Go ahead, Kev.
All right.
Are any of you reading Old Man Logan?
No.
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 Okay. All right. So this is, I guess I'll cover it, and then we can go to the books we have read all together. This is Old Man Logan, number 6 by Jeff Lemire, with artwork by Andre Sorrentino. So this is continuing the new arc that started last issue, where Wolverine, Old Man Logan, Wolverine goes to this like town up northwest. It's just snow and all of that. It's near where Weapon X was, actually, and he goes there for to kind of watch over his future wife, more or less, like, because she's a kid. She's a kid in this, like, right at this moment, and he always said that I could tell she had so much pain, and he's been watching over her, making sure nothing bad happens to her. And he's been there a couple of weeks at this town, just very peaceful. He says he's gotten a lot more sleep there than anywhere else. And the end of last issue left off with a cliffhanger of Lady Deathstrike and the Reavers. Like, that's him, you know. And this book plays it kind of like a horror movie, kind of. There's a scene where Lady, you can just see her claws, her just hand, like after she's killed like a human we don't see. You just see her claws just like hiding. We never see her in the book. And Wolverine in this kills like 2 of the Reavers. I think there's one called Bone Breaker or Bone Crusher, the one with the tank, the tank-looking guy. Yeah, he kills him after he runs over Old Man Logan and crushes his legs. And it was just really intense. And one of the Reavers has a kid at gunpoint, and that's where the issue ends. So it was really good, though. That's just one of my favorite books from Lemire. It's one of them. So yeah, I just wanted to cover that really quick. It was really good.
I have actually recently got a Old Man Logan poster from my local comic shop. The owner gives me like promo posters that he's not using in the shop anymore, and he gave me this one. I guess it was a cover. It's like, I'm looking at it right now. It's Logan in the snow, and like snow's falling and like there's like blood on the snow or whatever. Was that a cover to an issue or something?
Yeah, that was last issue's cover. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, that's the poster I've got on my X-Men wall now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've wanted to check this book out, but it just doesn't seem, it doesn't seem like it would interest me that much.
Well, see, the thing for me is Wolverine has never interested me, but I'm reading both Wolverine books, and both are fucking amazing. Like, that's the thing is, he made me like Wolverine. Like, I don't hate Wolverine, I find Old Man Logan to be far more interesting, and of course, Laura as well, so it's just like, I don't know if that says anything, it's just like...
It's weird, 'cause, yeah, maybe it does, because, like, I've always been, like, I've always been a Logan fan myself, and I liked the original Mark Millar story, but I don't know, maybe it was something about the Secret... I didn't really like the Secret Wars title that much of Old Man Logan, personally. I thought it was okay, but it wasn't, like, mind-blowing or anything, so maybe that's why I'm not, like, too keen on this version of Old Man Logan. But yeah, I'm glad you like it though, because Lemire is good with darker stories. I know that much.
Yeah. I guess I'll ask this just in case. Are any of you reading International Iron Man?
I am.
Because if you're not, all okay.
I read it through codes, but I read it.
Okay. All right. Do you want to cover that with me, Jeremy? And then I'm pretty sure Chris has read the rest that week. Okay.
Do you read International, Chris?
No, I was gonna say like I probably do. I think everybody reads Squadron, so I was like, okay, so I'll call that weird.
All right. So I really liked this issue of International. Like I said the first time with Kyle, I think it was in the first episode we did where we covered issue 1, right? Was it?
I think it was issue 2. It was issue.
It was issue 2.
Issue 2 on. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, like I said in that episode, I like that Bendis and Maleev are bringing their Daredevil magic to Iron Man, because I'm getting very much a Matt and Elektra vibe from what's the
Cassandra.
Cassandra
Gillespie.
Cassandra Gillespie and Tony. Because, she was, like Howard says, it turns out Howard was right and Cassandra was a honeypot, but she ended up falling in love with Tony anyway. So I thought that was really cool. And something interesting I found out about this book that I did not know beforehand, but I found out on Twitter, was that Maleev actually based the model for young Tony on basically one of Robert Downey Jr.'s characters from back in 1991. So basically, 1991 Tony Stark is 1991 Robert Downey Jr. That's why he looks so different.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so at first I was like, why does he look so weird? But it turned out Maleev based the design on 1991 Robert Downey Jr. So that's
really
why
cool.
He looks like that.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
I like the near the end where Tony's in the bathroom with her, and he, in the present he's like, this is a really expensive bathroom. Like, I'm rich, but this is really. I think he's just like gold plated or something like that. He's like, it's really nice in here, and I like how the book ends as well. Like, he's like, so honeypot, tell me, tell me who it is, and because we're trying to get to who his father is as well.
Honestly, my theory about this is where Bendis is going to do what Bendis does, and it's going to turn out to actually be. It turns out that Howard was his father the whole time, and it's just this whole circular, coming to terms with his relationship with his dad type of story. I have a feeling that's where it's going to go, because I don't think they're going to do the whole Tony was adopted thing. I think Bendis is just going to retcon that and be like, no, Howard was his dad, guys. Don't worry about it. Because you especially see it here when you see Howard in the issue. Howard and Tony are pretty much he inherited a lot of that personality, and sure you can say you get that from being American, but I definitely think he inherited that. I don't think that type of drive and intelligence is, just something we learn.
Yeah, and also the book brings up something, and I'm not sure if it's actually a comic book thing or if it was just the movies. Um, like 20 years ago, he's talking with Cassandra in a bathroom, and they're having a romantic moment. He's like, "Yeah, my father is co-founder of Shield." I don't know if that's a comic
It
book.
was just a movie thing, but I guess they're the canon to line up with everything.
Yeah, which is one of those things, but I got over it pretty quick.
I like it though. I think it adds more
Yeah,
depth
this
to
is really
Howard.
good. Yeah, and but yeah, it's just a really good book. Me and Jeremy have said Bendis is doing two different things with Invincible and International, and I'm liking both so far. They're just really good. So yeah.
Personally, I like International a little bit more than Invincible right now, mostly because Invincible's been a little bit slower, pace-wise, but I've liked what they've been doing in Invincible still, especially with War Machine, and I like the chick
Yeah.
that basically has created her own armor out of scraps,
Oh
and
yeah.
out of scraps like Obadiah Stane would say in the movie.
I remember when we were about to do that review, Jeremy, that week that we graduated. I actually put in my notes, she basically made an Iron Man armor out of a box of scraps, and I put it in big, like, caps.
A box of scraps.
Um,
Oh man, that was fantastic. But yeah, I like International a lot, and it was at first I was like Maliv's art doesn't really, I don't know if it's gonna work for Tony, but after I like found out about like what he's doing with young Tony, because I thought the young Tony stuff was weird at first, but then I'm like, oh, you based off a young Robert Downey Jr. That's cool. I like that.
yeah, yeah, and I want to, and I do agree. You said like Invincible's been a little bit slow, but you still like it. That's kind of the thing with a lot of writers nowadays. You notice where everyone's just writing for the trade. No one's writing for single issues anymore, at least for the most part. Bendis is one of those writers, and when we talk about Spider-Man, the Miles book, I'll even say it. Writes primarily for the trade. Like I'm hearing some people say even International is kind of boring. And I'm like, you wouldn't have that if this was like a 5-issue arc and trade or 6 issues. Like if you just pick that up and read it all together. For me with Maliv, I wasn't sure he could pull off the armor because there was an issue. I think when Black Widow showed up, when they had that team up thing, where she was on the run, and Iron Man made a guest appearance with the rest of the Avengers, and that was when he had like the triangle, and it looked, no offense to Maliv, it looked really bad. It looked really bad. And I was like, ooh, it looks not great. So, that's all.
All right, Chris, what you got?
Oh boy. Well, let's see. I'll go backwards. I'm not gonna go forward. Okay. Quadrant Supreme number 7. We got James Robinson and Leonard Kirk. He does a good artwork. The cover shows 616 Nighthawk versus the alternate Nighthawk. This actually happens. This is not false. Well, basically, we got Dr. Spectrum. She's still trying to figure out who. She's trying to hunt down those responsible for killing her world. They got Namor, but there were others involved, including Black Bolt. But she runs into excuse me. She runs into Thomas Raymond, aka Toro, Jim Hammond's old partner, who is no longer a mutant anymore. And now he's an Inhuman. I've never liked that. If you go back, you look at the Invaders. You know, the team of Cap and all of them. There were two Human Torches on that
Actually, I have
team.
a poster right here.
That was Toro. He was a mutant. Well, in this, um, she confronts basically Black Bolt, you know, about what he did or he's involved in, and Toro's pretty much playing. You know, he's trying to play peacekeeper, like, hey, relax. You know, don't do anything stupid, and she's like, get out of my way, kid. And he's like, I'm not a kid. I've been around for years, and you know, I've fought the Nazis and everything like that. And soon as she mentions that they killed Namor, Toro flips out. He flips out, and he's like, I know a lot of people. Yeah, Namor was a dick, and he's an asshole, and he could be a jerk. But the way Toro explains it, it actually makes sense. And I'm gonna kind of read that part off. He's like, She talks about how the Atlanteans now will ally themselves with my team, uh, because my team killed Namor and destroyed Atlantis. You know, basically, they destroyed Atlantis. They and Toro is like, what? And he's like, you killed Namor, my old friend, and and pretty much Namor was a murderer. You know, she goes on to talk about she's a murderer. And he's like, she's basically saying like it was that simple. And Tauros is like, simple. He's like, are you insane? You know, and the way he responds to Namor, she's like, he calls him Subby. I thought that was funny. He's like, Subby. Yeah, Subby was my friend, a brother in arm. You know, and that where I was like, okay, you know what? I can understand that because they were in a war together, and they were like comrades, and so you lose one of them, and so, you know, Namor had his problem, especially later after the war, but you know, and you know, he's just really pissed, and but you got pretty much Black Bolt just, you know, touches him and like almost like, don't do it, like, don't do that. Um, but the main gist of it also, the main gist really is showcasing the confrontation between Nighthawk and the two Nighthawks, and that's where it really gets interesting. You know, it's almost to the point where Kyle Richmond, 616 Nighthawk, is like, you know, you're stealing my identity. You know, who gave you the right to steal my identity? I was a defender, things like that, and the Squadron Supreme's Nighthawk is like, yeah, you're almost a joke. You know, he's like literally saying you're almost a joke. You don't even live up to your namesake. You know, he was kind of impressed that he found out about me. You know, found out who I really am. But he's really like downplaying Nighthawk, and I felt really bad for Nighthawk because I'm like, okay, yeah, Marvel hasn't used him in a long time, but man, like they're making Project Squadron Supreme Nighthawk just rip him apart in terms of irrelevance. That's how it came off, like, you're irrelevant, you don't matter. He's like, I matter. You know, I'm doing the things you couldn't do, and to the point where he's like, okay, so you're gonna talk about it, or are you just gonna have that stupid look on your face? And they just go at it, and
So I have a question.
Right here.
Did,
See right here, that's how the book of the fight.
oh, that's cool.
But,
I have a question though.
Mhm.
Does the Squadron Supreme Nighthawk go, I can do anything, you can do better.
That's kind
Anything
of
I can do, you can do better. I can do anything better than you. No, you can't. Yes, I can.
it's kind of funny because when that panel, that's what it felt like. It was like he was literally saying that, like, whatever you can do, I can do better. You know, and it was just, but I felt really bad for, 616 Nighthawk. I was like, man, he's just ripping them. He's like, you're irrelevant, you're a joke. I was like, he's like, you should just.
When was the last?
He's literally saying like almost like you're washed up.
When was the last time that Nighthawk was really used?
The Last Defenders.
I remember him.
The Marvel Now one?
No, not that one. Prior to that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
I think the last place. I remember. Oh, sorry.
So yeah, and anybody reading Karnak, right? So.
Both Kyle and I dropped pretty much everything in Human.
Okay, I could talk about this one. This is still part 4 of the story arc, The Flaw in All Things. Warren Ellis. Mr. Ellis, I like you. I like you a lot. But you take too damn long stuff for your stuff.
I was just about to ask, what was the gap for this one?
And it's just like, sometimes I had to go back and read the previous 3 issues just to figure out what was going on again. So still Karnak is still investigating. Is still into the investigation of this kidnapped boy that is kidnapped by this. They call him the Cabal of Single Shadow. It's a stupid name. He's still basically helping out Phil Coulson, and you just see pretty much Karnak just tearing a new one to a lot of these people. You see him fighting these like white creatures. I'll show you them. I thought that was Shamagoth right there.
Oh, the giant. Oh man, that does kind of like Shamagoth because it's a giant eyeball.
White creatures, and Karnak is fighting them. He's like, I can't. He's like, I'm trying to find their flaw. Like, where is it? And there are times like I'm just like, yo, Ellis, you're kind of writing Karnak out of character here at times. Like he's getting off, getting hurt. I'm like, what is he smiling for? That ain't funny. But
the last issue was fucked up. So
he's bleeding, and he's just like, yeah. I'm like, that's not Karnak. And then there's part where he does find the boy, and the boy is just like he doesn't want to go back home. He likes where he is. He's like, just tell my mom and dad I love them, but I'm staying here. So Karnak tells Phil Coulson, he's like, I found the boy. You don't want to leave, basically. He says, rip this place apart. I'm like, what the hell? So, but hopefully, now I gotta wait for issue 5. Oh yeah, guys, anybody who wants the code, I'll give it to you. So I'll start putting the codes back up on my Twitter. But yeah, I'm still reading Karnak, guys. Just trying to keep up, because Karnak is one of my favorite Inhumans. So so, but the fact is, like, Ellis is kind of writing him a little bit out of character. I'm like, yeah, that's not how Karnak should be acting, like getting off on pain. Yeah, what the hell?
Chris will be reviewing when we have episode 22, since that book takes like 10 years to come out. So we'll be at episode 22.
So like 6 episodes later, 6 to 10 episodes later, like 6 months from now, that's when the next issue will be out.
Yep.
All right. How about we talk a little bit of All New Wolverine?
All right.
Yeah.
That's one that we all read. Oh man, this book was fun. I love Gabby. Like Gabby is honestly one of my favorite new characters. Man, and the fact that they actually kept Jonathan the Wolverine is hilarious. Oh,
Misunderstood.
he's just misunderstood. He's not a dog. He's just misunderstood. Is that woman blind, Laura? What is going on? Oh my God, she's just so freaking cute, man. And the fact that she's never had Chinese food before was adorable. Like when she was sitting there in the Shield helicarrier, like, oh, sorry. My God, this is amazing.
Yeah, that was so great.
Oh man,
I like
And then
she was getting a call from Maria Hill, and she's like, "Your phone's ringing. Don't answer it. Don't answer it." And then Maria's like, comes in and is like, we need to talk. I'm not coming to see you. And the whole Harriet carrier is hovered over her apartment. I'm like, Jesus.
Yep. And she ends up paying for her Chinese food.
Yeah.
Basically as a bribe for them to come onto the helicarrier.
What I did like was kind of what I was looking forward to seeing was how Laura was going to react to seeing Old Man Logan.
Yeah, I liked it because she's basically like, that man looks like my father, but it's not my father.
That's not him. I instantly was like, she better say what I want her to say. And I thought Taylor did a good job of writing that. She looks at him, but then it's almost, at first, the panel, you could see at one point, the panel looks as, she's like, it's almost like she's looking at it like, that's my father. But then even Gabby's like, isn't that? No. It's like she just stops like, no, that's not him. He's like, he's from another dimension or future or both.
Both. I don't. She's like, I don't care. She actually says, she's like, I don't care.
But I thought it was that was a really good touching. And what's with Ping Fang Boom popping up?
I was joking around with that with Kyle while we were waiting for you. I was like, this is like Ping Fang Boom has appeared literally in every book I've read at least once.
I mean, he's
like weird.
He pops up now and everything. It's like he's in Totally Awesome Hulk. He's in.
He was in Spidey. He was in Spidey this week too.
Spidey. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, they are really pushing Ping Fang Boom now.
I mean, maybe he's the villain for Iron Man 4? Question mark?
Well, he is alien, so...
I mean, I would be cool with that. I'm just saying.
But I like where... I thought this was really good, and I like the chemistry that Laura has with Gabby, and she's like, you stay here. She says, where you going? I gotta deal with a belly and a beast. I'm like, she's jumping in his mouth.
But that was also like a classic Wolverine move too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wolverine does that shit all the time.
Also, I think it's hilarious that Old Man Logan is inside Ping Fang Boom. Like, I just like to see Laura jump in, and he's like, "Hey."
Could you imagine like this crusty old man?
It kind of reminds me of Pinocchio. It was like,
when Geppetto's in the whale, yeah. It's like, could you imagine just this crusty old man, like, God damn it, I'm trapped inside this fucking dragon.
You know, it's
crusty old man.
Crusty old man.
That's kind of what he is. He's just a crusty old man. Like,
and the thing is,
he's probably the most.
I don't know. It's pretty funny because it's like, you know, Laura knows that it's him, but not him, and it makes you wonder what he's gonna think of her.
Because he had a daughter too. He did.
Yeah.
Because he had a daughter too. Yeah. And through these past couple issues, like she's been having these flashes of just like, she like even in like when she had that flash in the Squirrel Girl issue where she almost basically said, "Dad, don't leave me." And he's like, you're better off here, kid. Don't worry. Besides, you stick with me, you'll end up in trouble.
Mm-hmm. It was really appropriate.
Yeah, that was a really good moment.
Yeah, it was really smart. So.
Definitely, All New Wolverine has been really good. I mean, Taylor's just killing it on this title.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my only thing is like this is I mean like I doubt this is gonna happen, but this thing in the back of my head is I hope this doesn't go the Deathstroke route. And what I mean is I hope this doesn't just turn into Wolverine teams up with insert character here.
Oh,
I mean, I don't really think it's going to be that because the first
I mean,
arc they
no, I
had
mean,
was
yeah, I mean, like all the appearances make sense and they connect to the story really well. But I'm just saying, I hope it doesn't just turn into Wolverine teams up with the Hulk, Wolverine teams up with Black Widow, Wolverine teams up with Iron Man. You know,
and
like I don't
also
want it to be Wolverine and
Mar-
Gabby insert character here.
we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was only with Squirrel Girl and now Old Man Logan, but that's kind of
And
appropriate
and
since
and, and Jan and Doctor Strange and
yeah,
Hill and Angel. Again, but they all
yeah,
made
but those aren't
sense.
like
Yeah.
yeah, they were like more for the story, but they weren't like team up issues like. And X-23's had this before, like her ongoing with what was it
Yeah,
Marjorie? She
Marjorie
had like a
Liu.
whole bunch.
with Marjorie Liu, she had that whole thing where she teamed up. Where at first she was with Dawkins, but then she was with Logan and Gambit, which was that was a cool thing going on there. Um, but so yeah, you're right. I mean, like I said, it's not something that I'm really worried about. But like it's just kind of something that I thought about, like that's like in the back of my mind, where it could happen, but I don't think it will.
All right. How about
That's fair.
some astonishing Ant-Man?
Yeah. All right. So this reminded me of personally my favorite book that Spencer's written for Marvel's, which is Superior Foes of Spider-Man, because that book was hilarious, and I this book just had me cracking up, like with the basically with the bad guys teaching the magician the ropes of being a henchman, and and they're like, let me give you a tip, kid. Let me give you a tip, kid. If you go to New York like everybody else, stick to Manhattan. They all said it at the same time. They're like, stick to Manhattan. It's like, why? He's like, he's like, you head east, and you'll be dealing with the devil. He's like, you go further south, you end up in Harlem, and you're gonna deal with Luke Cage. He's not that bad. I mean, I met his wife once. She's a nice lady, but eh, I mean, Iron Fist is kind of funny, but I mean, if you just pretend Spider-Man's jokes are funny, he'll go easy on you. But if you mess with Daredevil, man's got serious anger issues.
Yeah.
He'll break your bones. You'll end up in the hospital. You don't want any of that. Luke, he might go easy on you, but man, you don't want to mess with his wife. His wife, that's a whole nother story. I was just cracking up with all these these botched job stories that they were talking about. It
Yeah.
reminded me of that episode of Batman the Animated Series
I
where
almost
they're
got, yeah, yeah.
yeah almost got him, where they're at the poker table and they're telling stories about like how they almost got Batman.
I hit him with a rock. Threw a rock at him. The only thing I don't like, oh, and you forgot one other one that was pretty funny. Besides was the fact that he's like, now there's one goes without saying, but if you see the Punisher anywhere, run. I pray you could please speak. Don't speak to him at all. But the one thing I have to admit is I don't like that Cassie is a villain. Like she's doing
I
this.
mean, I don't think she's really a villain. She's only doing this because she's kind of angry at Cross, and she's only doing it to get her powers back. Um,
Yeah, she's Stinger now. Is what she
yeah,
calls her. So.
yeah, I thought that was cool. And I also I liked it in a way where I was like, oh, she kind of has some of her dad's skills because she's kind of like applying some of the stuff that Scott would do and stuff like that. And I love the ending because it was just classic kind of Cassie / Ant-Man where she gets caught and she's just like, oh crap.
Yeah. and Cross even. Darren Cross says, "It's lovely to see you again, Miss Lang." I was like, oh.
Yep. Oh
And
man.
what I also like about Ant-Man is that, especially with this, I got the variant Horseman cover. I thought that was really cool. It was like, okay, I gotta get that cover. Um, what I like about this series is that they've really used the Power Broker a lot. That's a character who's been mentioned in past comics, but you never get to see him. You actually see him. For all those who don't know, the Power Broker is a character that's given a lot of villains and some heroes their powers. Actually,
He kind of looks like Tombstone a little bit.
yeah. He basically you pay him and he'll give you powers. Believe it or not, guys, John Walker got his powers through him. So there you
You know
go.
how much Kyle loves John Walker.
No. Uh, but I mean, so far this is really good, and basically Scott, is doing what he can to try to keep his daughter out of jail or anything like that, and he's gonna do what he got to do.
Yep.
But
He even hired the superior foes, including his booty call, the
yeah,
Beetle.
she's like, this is costing me a lot of money and things like that. It's pretty funny.
I love that the guy in the diver helmet is trying to hit on the Beetle, and she's
Oh,
kind of like,
that's the Trapster.
that's a trapster.
Hmm.
He looks way different.
Yeah, that's him.
Huh. He looks way different. But I love that when he was hitting on the Beetle, she's just kind of like, I'm spoken for, in a way, because she thinks she's dating Ant-Man.
Oh no, excuse me. That's not I think that's Hitchhiker. Yeah, as we call that.
Oh wow, talk about Z-listers, jeez. But
I, I don't know why Whirlwind there. He's not a joke.
yeah, because they showed in the last issue that Whirlwind actually gave Ant-Man a run for his money at a point with that hench app. I really dig this series, and I especially like that they're actually like using Cassie again, and she has her powers now. Hopefully, like she'll get out of this whole villain phase and become a hero, and maybe she'll get a book with Katie. Maybe the Young Avengers can come back.
I don't know. The first thing is Katie now. She's like big friends now with America Said. They're like
Yeah.
really tight now with each other.
Yep.
So I haven't not even seen that Cassie has even made contact with any of her old teammates. Like,
I mean, she hung out with Katie in the like 2 issues ago. She hung out with Katie in, I think it was like issue 5 of Ant-Man.
oh, that's right, she did.
And she was like, "Send me." I love it because I kept laughing at it because I keep forgetting that she's actually like 22, but she's like in a 14-year-old's body still because Doom resurrected her body at basically at the same point as when she died. She's in the body of a 14-year-old, but she has the mind of like a 22-year-old.
Hmm.
And I love the line when she's like, "Send me all the nasty pics you probably have of that Novar boy."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, she is like 20 something. Never mind. Okay." I'm like, that's all right then.
Let's
But
see.
yeah, that book's pretty fun. What about Spider-Man? I know we all read that one, and that's the last one I've got from Marvel.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
I hear you.
Okay. Can I? I was trying to ask you guys a question about Ant-Man.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
my bad.
I know, no, my mic was something weird was going on. My mic. You guys are fine. I remember when I was reading that, the current stuff. He was like, it flashed 8 months forward, and he was in prison. Has that been dealt with, or what?
I think this is how he gets into prison is saving
Oh.
Cassie.
Yeah,
But
Okay.
we haven't had any jail flash forwards in a minute.
not yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Thank
Okay.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
So Spider-Man,
Uh,
misleading ass cover.
yeah.
Bendis, Bocelli.
This show didn't look like Pacelli's artwork at times. I'm like,
It didn't.
Oh, it's Pacelli to me. It looks a little bit not as I guess polished might be the word.
I guess that's what it's because.
Yeah, it doesn't look as clean as Pacelli's art usually does.
I didn't hate this issue. This is all right. I mean, it was just pretty much.
It was just okay.
It was okay. I mean, you got Genki, Miles, and Goldball. Goldball, yeah. You know, basically, he introduces himself, and he's like he's showing off his powers, I guess, to some of the other kids, and one of his gold balls actually splacks Miles, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, and Yankee just literally comes out and blabs it to Miles like, "Oh yeah, he's Spider-Man."
I was talking to Kyle about this, and I was like, "Look, Gank, I love you, man, but I wanted to smack him across the head." Like,
I mean, the funniest thing is you just see Miles. They kept zooming on Miles' eyes. He's just like, "Don't you dare! Don't you say it!" And he's like, "No, I'm not."
Don't you dare.
Oh yeah, are you messing with me because I'm
he's
the
like,
new guy?
he's like, Gank, tell him you're joking. Tell him you're joking.
Tell him you're joking, and he's like, "But you told Ms. Marvel," and he's like, "I know her," and it's just
He's like, we've been in life and death situations together, Gank. Of course, I told her.
And you know, he just flips out, and it's just like he just goes and he just starts web slinging, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill him."
Even Gold Balls is like, you probably shouldn't have told me that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him, and then all of a sudden you just see all these missiles start coming at Miles, and he's dodging them, and then at one point he gets attacked. He gets hit. He falls, and you see who I guess was involved in shooting old Dink Hammerhead himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he basically says, "Tell Black Cat we got him." And I'm just like, "Oh, here we go again." And look, I got a problem with what Marvel has been doing with Black Cat. It's almost like anybody who has spider-related powers, she has some kind of fucking like animosity towards. And I'm just like, I've hated what Marvel has done with Black Cat. This is not the Felicia that I like. You know, this is just.
It started with Spider-Man, that goddamn issue where he knocked out her fucking tooth.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my god, like and then I know she found out that wasn't him, and it's just like
she's still going.
Yeah, now she's some kind of queen pin or of the underground, and I'm just like, yo, whatever. I can't deal it. And yeah, this cover is just so misleading. This don't happen at all. But I'll tell you, it's pretty good to see Hammerhead. You know, it is kind of good to see him.
Who was the green guy on the cover?
I have no idea who that is actually.
I thought that was Willow of the Wisp. I could be wrong, but he's not green, fully green. He's supposed to be blonde, and he's got green, but he could just move around like a light, like like an energy that's going all over the place, like a wisp, like kind of like remember that in Harry Potter, that thing that would fly around?
Yeah, like a snitch. Nice.
That's what I thought it was, but other than that, this was just a okay issue.
It was fine.
Yeah, it wasn't
fine.
Really, and
fast, like I was looking.
Yeah, it was fast. I kind of read through that really quick. I was like,
this recent volume of Ultimate. Oh, I keep wanting to call it Ultimate Spider-Man. Spider-Man. This recent volume of Miles' book. All these issues have been like really quick reads.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And they're really good most of the time, so that's kind of a shame that they're really quick.
Yeah. I mean, this one was not nearly as good as the one with his abuela and Miss Marvel showing up. That was hilarious.
That was great.
Let's see. I guess I can go to Spidey number 6.
Oh yeah, I did actually read Spidey number 6.
Okay. This basically has him and Iron Man teaming up.
Against yet again things back soon.
First, they're teaming up against the Vulture. It's funny that Vulture wears like a hooded headpiece in this. Uh, new artist on this one. It's not Brubaker. It's not Bradshaw actually. And I kind of was looking more for Brad. I actually,
Yeah, I like Bradshaw's artwork a lot in this book. It's weird. I don't normally like his artwork, but for this book, it works.
I mean, for this one was kind of weird because at times Peter's head is really big. I mean, like he's got a
Like
giant head. I mean, look at that. Look at that right there. It's like you can see his head. Like it's so big. And some people, Gwen's eyes were really big. Even when he's in costume, his head's really big. And you see him basically, Vulture is stealing Stark tech, and he comes in, and of course he's fighting Vulture, and Iron Man comes in, and he's like, "Hey, you're that menace Spider-Man," and he's analyzing Spider-Man, trying to look under his mask, and he's like, I can't look under his mask. Why can't I look under his mask? And pretty much later on, Iron Man's trying to figure out, is he a kid or not? And he got him in his old look costume right here. You can see it right here.
Yep, the bulky one. I'm
Yeah.
glad they didn't do the one with the nose because that was
And
weird.
yeah, and pretty much. And what I didn't like, and I kind of will say this because I was like, here we go again. Is basically when Spidey gets away from Tony for a while, his armored computer says, "He's quite fast, sir." And Tony says, "Thanks for the update, Friday." And I'm like, oh, really? Like, this is supposed to be like part of past stories. Like,
Yeah, the past story it should be Holmes or Homer. Homer was his AI, right? Back in the day.
yeah, and you got, him chasing Peter, and and he's basically saying, stun him, use stun rockets, and Peter's just dodging everything. And they do team up against Vulture.
My
And
whole thing with Spidey is I feel like it's just kind of the same old story, just like with different villains.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you right now, Spidey's been a lot better than Amazing.
Well, yeah, that's for sure.
And
That's the reason. That's the reason I keep up with it.
and that's something that I'm really like. These are past stories, and just retold, and it's better than the current stuff. It's like, that's sad. And even Shield, like in this, they just look so much like the movie. Like you see him right here. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, that's one thing I don't like. But the funniest thing is, like, Tony, he's like, Peter's like, hey, wait a minute, you work for Tony Stark, right? Can you ask him how advice on dating? And he's just like, my God, he really is a kid. And we go back to the next day of Midtown High, and it seems that Gwen, being Peter's tutor, is helping him, and he's getting good grades, which I don't understand why. Peter was a good student, period. And so, Peter asks Gwen to a winter formal dance, and he's like, hey, Peter, he's like, hey, Gwen, you want to go to a dance with me? And she's like, oh, yeah, you mean, of course, I wanted to go. I told Flash I'd go with him yesterday. And it's like, oh, that Parker luck. And so he's just like, yeah, okay, I got to leave. And then Iron Man comes back. And, Peter's without his mask on. So his spider sense goes off when Iron Man gets close, and he's like, okay, I'll put it back on. And then Tony says to him, she said she's already got a date, isn't she? He's like, what? No, no. I mean, yes. And she's like, yeah, I've been there. And then of course they sit down and have like a little friendly talk, and then of course, dun dun dun, bang bang boom. I'm like, what the hell?
He shows up everywhere.
It's like
He's trying to. It's like, I'm gonna be in another movie, guys.
what always makes me laugh about bang bang boom is that he wears purple purple shorts. Like,
Him and Hulk go to the same store, man. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna punch a dragon. And he's like, okay, does this mean I'm an Avenger now? Shut up, kid. I'm like,
Shut up, yeah. Shut up, please.
the next
Isn't
issue
it kind
I'm
of,
definitely like going to, because Black Panther's gonna be in the next issue, so I'm looking forward to reading
yeah. Isn't it kind of ironic that Spider-Man and Iron Man are teaming up in the Vulture against the Vulture, and the movie, the Homecoming movie, is like supposed to be that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's kind of true.
Yep. Well, yeah, we'll get to that when we get to the news section. Actually, I got a whole thing about that.
And the last Marvel book I got was Power Man and Iron Fist #4.
Yes.
I kept getting all the Horseman variant covers. I was just like, these are so cool.
Yeah, they're really cool.
I like, you get this one is pretty cool because you actually see Luke on a flaming horse with an axe in the back. I'm like, oh my god! Like, um, this continues to just be okay. I'll admit, yes, guys, I will admit, I don't like the art. I don't. I really don't. There are times Luke he looks like a stereotypical, you know, black character from the 1930s with big lips
This
and
is what he looks
stuff.
like.
Yeah, I don't like that. And then there are times Danny is just way too small. Yeah, see what I'm talking about? Look at that. With the big
Yeah,
nose
see?
or something. Yeah. And
That's-
I really wish they get it better. I mean, it's funny because in some of these Marvel books, there's this
Luke
Luke
Cage, little
Cage
short.
short, and I'm like, why don't they get Dale Cohen to do it? I mean, I love his artwork. And this is still dealing with Black Maria and her friend, a friend of Jenny Royce. She's an old friend of Luke and Danny. They go way back. Probably the funniest thing to me in this was at the end is especially with Jessica. No, one of them is really funny. There's two parts I love is where Luke picks up Danny. And they do their own fastball special. They call it the fistball special. It's really funny. It's right here. It's so funny. I was laughing at that. I was like, "That's so stupid." But I thought he was gonna say, "Yo, Danny, Iron Fist him," because when he said that before, Spider-Man said that to Danny before, and he's like, "I hate when you say that. Don't ever say that to me." But the funniest thing also I thought was pretty funny is at the end where Luke is talking to Jessica and she's like, "No, I'm serious. No, I'm fine. We don't need to worry. You don't need to worry." And she's like, "Why can't you just come out and say, Jessica, Danny and I are back together. It'll be better for the both of us and make you feel better." And so Danny's like, "Hey, is that Jessica? Hey, tell her I said hey." And then he's like, "Well, we'll talk later." And he's like, "Oh man, did you hang up? Oh, she hates me. She hates me." "No, she don't hate you." I love it.
I love that running joke. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's so
And
funny.
they book it.
Of
They book
course,
in that
they take like this amulet.
arc with that.
They take that amulet to and some I get it. I don't know if it's I don't know what kind of sorceress he is, but he's like, "Man, you don't take it to that quack Doctor Strange." I'm like, "Oh God, like what the hell?" And he's just like, then he even says, "So are you guys back together again?" And then Luke says, "Yeah, sure." And then Danny's like, "Yeah, we're back together." And then he's like, "Okay, now considering you need some kind of costume, no costumes." And you see people
Yeah.
taking selfies and shots of him. He's like, "What powered man needs a costume?" I'm already regretting this. I was like, okay.
I might start getting it with this new arc, the next issue.
I mean, other than that, David Walker does a good job with this. He's writing them pretty much how
I love that.
uh who was writing the Power Man Iron Fist book back in the day? Crap, I think it was Thomas. I think um he's like he's writing it and just like that, But the only thing that bothers me is the artwork. That's the only thing. Is like they need a better artist. I'm serious. They do need a better
Usually
artist.
issue 7 for Marvel, I've noticed, is when they change artists. So that's why I'm hoping that the next issue I'll jump on and they change artists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
One thing I wanted to
Because
mention
they
that
did
that
it
was
with, because, oh my bad. I was
sorry.
just gonna say, I was just gonna say real quick, because I noticed they did it with A-Force issue 7. They changed artists. Wolverine they changed to issue 7. So I'm hoping that that issue, or like around issue 7 they change for the art for Power Man and Iron Fist. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah. One thing I really thought was funny in the book was the whole thing, the whole running gag with Lonnie, where he just whispers when he talks, and he's just like, like, why does he still do that? He's like, it's like, it's at the end of it. It's the funniest thing ever. It's just like, come back here. Like, I can't hear him anymore. And his goons are hilarious when they were like the last. I think it was the last issue, the issue before that, where they got in a fight with Danny and Luke, and like, oh man, it's Dan. It's I mean, let's not get spotted. I don't want to get. It's so funny. I love that book. It's so good.
Yeah,
Is that it though? I think.
that's all I
I'm pretty
have.
sure that's it.
That's pretty much all I have. I guess we can go on to pretty much, guys. We can go on to the comic related stuff, guys. For all you guys out there who are still with us or watching, start getting your questions
Have we
together.
gotten any comments, Kyle?
I haven't. I looked. I know Serena was posting along with. She's like, Civil War was okay. Fing Fang Foom, Hank is back. Jared Flowers a couple hours ago said, "Hey guys, I didn't want to interrupt you guys though when you were reviewing books, so I didn't say anything. But let me look and see if there's anything else at the moment." Nathan. Hey Nathan. He says, "Hey guys." Hi
What's up,
Nathan.
Nate?
I don't know how long ago that was, but hello. But it's understandable. If we don't get questions, it's like 2 a.m., so it's understandable.
Yeah, it's cool.
We'll just go. If there's no comments, like questions, we'll just, after comic book related news, we'll just end the show.
Yep. All right,
And then
so
next
do you
week
want to go
we'll
ahead and
be
do?
able to-
I know you had some stuff, Kyle, and I'll go into my stuff. And then Chris, if you have anything to add that we didn't cover, you can go ahead and. So go ahead, Kyle. You can start us off.
Okay. This week in comic book related news, Captain America: Civil War has finally broken $1 billion worldwide. This week, it has made $1 billion, and that is incredible. I'm so happy we live in a world where a Captain America movie can make that much money, and a good Captain America movie. And I'm just happy. That's really good. They've earned all that money. So yeah, there's that. And then there's the mention that I'm not sure if this was what Jeremy is. I know Jeremy had a lot of the Spider-Man stuff. But we've finally gotten the confirmation that we have a Harley Quinn spinoff coming. So it's going to have a whole bunch of the a whole bunch of female characters from DC in it. I know Chris made a video
Yeah.
on it, but if you have anything else you want to say on that, Chris, do you have anything else at all, or?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, they announced that that there's gonna be a Harley spinoff, and the fact is that Margot Robbie will reprise her role, um, and she will actually produce the movie as well. So
Yep, she actually also was the one who hired the writer, and she's working with the writer as well. She's fully involved in this movie's development from
she
the research that I did into it.
yeah she basically in some of course also in terms of the Harley stuff is that DC gave early screenings of Suicide Squad and people enjoyed it. So I'm like, okay. But when that news first dropped, I was more like, wow, okay, they really going in with Harley. Like she must have did a great performance as that because she really worked her butt off for that role. She really researched the character and really got into that character just as much as who's playing Joker.
Oh man, he's done some
Gotcha.
intense stuff
Yeah.
to get ready to play Joker. He
So
actually checked himself into a mental hospital and stayed there for like a week and went through like normal procedures as a mental patient. It was some crazy stuff.
yeah, so she kind of went that route as well. But just hearing that, okay, they're gonna do a spin-off, but it's not necessarily gonna be just her. They talk about it's gonna be more of a female-oriented like movie where there are other DC heroines and DC villains or villainesses.
I'm hoping this is a Gotham City Sirens movie. Just
Yeah, they're saying like we could see Poison Ivy and Catwoman. So I'm like, whoa. They talk about Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, oh, wow. Y'all really going in on this. But it's just like, wow. That was just really shocking to hear that. Like, okay, they really pushing for Harley. I mean, yeah, Harley has been being pushed a lot by DC. I'm not gonna lie, and she's a popular character right now. She's probably the most popular female character right now, even before Wonder Woman.
pretty much. I mean,
So
I bought into the merchandise train. I've got like 3 Funko figures, a Harley Quinn bed set, and pillowcases, and like several posters and T-shirts. I'm not ashamed at all. Like, I'm like I'm a hardcore Harley
I'm a
Quinn
Harley fan myself, and I've always wanted to see Harley live action, and we're getting it. We're
fan.
gonna get her, and hopefully that's pretty much the main reason why. And I've said that before. It's the main reason why I'm going to see Suicide Squad is because of her. I just want to see Harley. I just really want to see Harley.
Ever since I saw Wolf of Wall Street, I was like, this chick could play Harley Quinn. And I heard her little Brooklyn accent, I was like, yo, this chick could play Harley Quinn. And then when I found out she did, I was like, yes.
The only problem is she's Australian, so it's like, look at that. That's great. That's so cool. But other than that, yeah, I'm fine with this. If this means that they're gonna showcase more DC heroines and villainous, I'm great. I mean, I think we do need to see maybe a better representation of Poison Ivy on live screen, because as much as Uma Thurman tried, she wasn't Ivy.
I mean,
I really want to see a better Ivy.
Tried.
Yeah, tried.
Tried to be.
yeah, like on paper, Uma Thurman could work as Poison Ivy, but Joel Schumacher was the one, controlling that. So
Oh, I was gonna tell a joke with it that Chris and Malcolm love to hear me do. Uma Thurman tried to be a good Poison Ivy, and it was a failure.
Failure. It was a failure. She tried. I mean, I mean, as for Catwoman, I mean, we've seen many women come
Can
and
we
play
please
Catwoman.
get a better representation of Catwoman? Because, I mean, Anne Hathaway was good. She was alright. Uh,
Hmm.
I
I
love
thought
the
Michelle
kids
Pfeiffer did a
version.
good job. I thought she did a good job as
She,
Catwoman.
she was okay, but she wasn't like legit Catwoman. She was like weird supernatural powers Catwoman. Like I didn't count that as like legit Catwoman. Like Anne Hathaway was a legit thief Catwoman. I like Eartha Kitt's version from back in the day. That was that was pretty cool. I mean, and I just want the Darwin Cook version of Catwoman with the goggles and the the whole expert thief thing, where she was kind of like Viper from Jackie Chan Adventures.
Yeah.
Like, come on, I want that. I just want that to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
just
It,
give me the Catwoman from the Arkham games, or I would take that straight up.
and
Oh
if
man.
this is basically them, DC like, okay, if we're gonna do Batgirl, it's like, okay, yeah, we need a better representation of Batgirl because Alicia Silverstone, no,
From Clueless.
yeah,
Yeah, Alfred's niece. That was weird.
no.
Jenna
What
Malone
are you
is
talking
reported
about?
to be Barbara Gordon, but I think they already said that she's going to be Oracle. So maybe we'll get a Cassandra Cain Batgirl or a Stephanie Brown or something.
And then of course they say Birds of Prey, so Huntress and Black Canary. I'm like, really?
Like let's get some legit versions of both. Although I'm not gonna lie, guys. No, I'm not gonna go into that one. Not gonna touch that one again. Not talking about it. Nope. Staying away from it. Not gonna talk about it again.
But other than that, yeah, like I said, it was fine. So yeah, go on.
All right, cool. So are those all the ones you wanted to cover, Kyle? And then I can jump into the Spider-Man stuff.
Yep. Then
All
you
right,
can.
so there are two pieces of Spider-Man news related to our favorite character. It's kind of funny because we are the Spidey trio of the YouTubers core. So the smaller thing is two of Peter Parker's classmates have been cast in the upcoming Spider-Man Homecoming movie. I can't find the actors' names, but one of them is stars in a soap opera, and that's the girl, and she looks almost dead on for like the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series version of Liz Allen. So I'm thinking that's where they're going with that one. And the Hispanic kid from Dope, the movie Dope, is also casted as Peter's friend. So I'm assuming that's going to be Harry. Um, and that actually leads into the other thing that I wanted to talk about related to Spider-Man: Homecoming, and this is actually a Reddit post that I saw um, posted by this one Reddit user who's actually been very accurate when predicting comic book movie plots. He
Mm.
actually he actually months before Civil War started, he didn't say the entire cameo or whatever, but he actually said that Spider-Man was going to be in the movie, and he was going to be on Tony's side, and he was going to be in it for more than just a cameo. And he predicted pretty much all the shit that went down in Batman v Superman. And so I'm like, this guy's pretty accurate. Like he's pretty much like 9 times out of 10 right. And so he posted a plot synopsis on Reddit, and pretty much the what he said is like in the scene where the title card pops up before the movie actually starts, Spider-Man is stopping a bank robbery before school, and he takes out most of the robbers except for one who's holding a person hostage. Pete manages to get the hostage free, but the guy manages to get away, and he later finds out that this guy's name is Herman Schultz. So you guys know who that is, obviously, the Shocker before he becomes the Shocker. And we find out that the main villain of the story of the movie is going to be none other than Adrian Toomes, who works for Norman Osborn. and he's actually trying to replicate the Falcon armor, but he can't recreate a stable power source. So he ends up using like the vitals of the user to power the suit, and when he tries it on, it actually causes him to age rapidly, and then he has to actually take life force from other people to sustain himself, and so basically Pete tries to call in for help, and Tony's like, I can't help you directly because of the Accords, but I can give you the schematics for the Falcon armor so you can find a weak point, and I can help you develop a device to reverse Toombs' aging thing. And so he ends up fighting Toombs at the homecoming dance. And also, the Peter Parker plot of the story is he ends up tutoring Liz Allen. They end up getting close, and she ends up, starting to like him. He asks her out to the homecoming dance, and also Harry gets him to join the homecoming dance committee so that he can get closer to Liz. And they end up choosing the theme for the dance, which ends up being Avengers. And then, when Pete ends up fighting the Vulture at the dance, he obviously has to run away and look like a coward in front of Liz to, save everybody to become Spider-Man. And Flash ends up saving Liz from the Vulture's attack, and then Spidey ends up saving Flash, making Flash into the biggest Spider-Man fanboy ever, as we know from the comics. And then basically, after the whole fight, Pete ends up dateless because Liz ends up getting back together with Flash, and they reschedule the dance, and Pete's like, you know what, I'm not going to go. I don't have Liz. I've got other stuff to do, and, maybe I should just stay home. And Aunt May's like, nah, mister, that's not an option. Besides, Mr. Stark came by with a new suit for you. And he's like, new suit? Oh, shit, Tony, did you just expose my secret identity type of thing? It's like, I can't believe you let Aunt May see one of my suits. And he's like, and it turns out that the package is just a suit for him to wear to the dance. And he's like, and apparently there's a note attached to it from Tony that says, remember, kid, go for the redheads. And throughout the whole movie, apparently, the joke is Aunt May is trying to set him up with a friend's niece who has a great personality. And, Peter's like, and eventually, so he's like, besides, I don't have a date. Cue doorbell. And when I read this part of the plot synopsis, I was like, no. And then so doorbell rings, door opens, redhead chick, black shirt, and then those magic words. I read the magic words in that plot synopsis. If that happens, I will jizz my pants. I'm saying right now. I'm not even fronting. I've been waiting so long for that phrase, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Face it, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot.
Oh, what about the stuff going on that Michael Keaton is back on track?
Michael Keaton's I think he's gonna play Osborn, because Osborn's involved in this, but he's just kind of Toombs' boss. And the reason Oscorp is growing so fast is because apparently when S.H.I.E.L.D. collapsed, Norman actually hires a lot of former S.H.I.E.L.D. scientists. So that's how he's able to develop so much good tech and get all these arms contracts and stuff. And so apparently the final scenes of the movie is Pete and MJ walk into the dance, and they change the theme of the dance. It's no longer Avengers themed. They actually walk into a Spider-Man Homecoming. And so because they changed the theme to Spider-Man to reflect the hero who saved their school.
Huh.
So if this is real, this is going to be the best Spider-Man movie ever.
That'd be interesting.
Your pants are going to be full of jizz.
I'm not even going to front. They probably will be.
It's going to be yes. I guess I could do one because there was another big thing that came out, comic related. The fact is, yes, guys, it will be Hela as the villain for the next Thor.
So it's not Surtur?
It's not Surtur, it's Hela, and that's who Kate Blanchett is playing. And not only has that been hired, and not only is Teresa Thompson is playing Valkyrie, but
Nice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
it's also been announced that Carl Urban will be playing the Executioner.
Oh, snap.
And Jeff Goldblum is going to be in this as the Grand Master. Uh, so there's this implying that, yeah, there is going to be like some kind of gladiator-like battle.
Aren't the Grandmaster and the Collector brothers or something?
Yeah, something like that. And of course, everybody else is coming back to reprise their role. I really just wanted to talk about the whole Carl Urban situation and of course Kate Blanchett. Further, Carl Urban, I still hope Mr. Urban that that whole deal with Judge Dredd and Netflix goes down, because that is
That would
probably,
be pretty dope.
huh?
I said that would be pretty dope.
Because he said that it's getting really close that it may happen, and I really would like that, because I think Netflix would be a perfect place for Judge Dredd.
And he's actually a huge fan of the actual Dredd comics too.
Yeah, that's why I liked him. I liked the movie, because it felt very much Dredd like. He never removed his mask. He just pretty much Dredd through that whole movie. But once I heard he's gonna play Scourge, the Executioner, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, you got Execute. Where's Enchantress then? It's like those two are never kind of apart from each other too much.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's why I was thinking maybe they were gonna do, since Marvel is always apparently just always doing race changes. I was thinking that like Tessa Thompson was gonna be the Enchantress.
yeah. So I'm just like, okay, that's interesting. But Carl Urban, I mean, I wonder. I mean, he's gonna shave his head. I mean, because Executioner is bald, really. So it makes you wonder. He's probably gonna have to put on a lot of weight. Probably a lot of.
How
Like,
tall is he?
Carl Urban?
Yeah.
I think he's in the 6 foot range. I think he is. I mean, y'all can look that up if you want. And he carries that big axe. But and then of course, I am looking forward to seeing how they're gonna really do Kate Blanchett, as Hela. Will they go full Hela, where she looks like in that scary looking costume? My biggest
That was
concern
Loki's
is,
daughter, right?
yes, that's where I was gonna go. My biggest concern is she going to be Loki's daughter or some kind of relation of Loki? Because that's who Hela is. She's like the ruler of hell, but she is Loki's daughter. And I still have this big connection that she's gonna play a bigger role down the line,
Yeah,
because
she's probably gonna be the stand-in for Lady Death.
yeah, that's where I'm going. Like, she may be death for Thanos, and he's like, yeah, I do this. I do this for you. So I'm wondering about that. And, Jeff Goldblum as Grand Master. I'm just like, okay, so we're getting Ian Malcolm in this.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, Dr. Ian Malcolm is the
Yeah, we got Dr. Ian Malcolm in this, and Jeff Goldblum has never really played too many villains. I mean, besides he did voice Verminous Scum for Captain Planet back in the days, but yeah, I'm sorry, I know that, yeah, but he's always played like that typical good guy, just with the crazy big eyes. But
The Fly still freaks me out to this day, man.
not anymore for me. I don't watch it like that anymore. But I've conquered that demon. That demon don't scare me no more. I still don't like when his face falls off, but But yeah, I mean, the cast looks great. That's the one thing I think everybody said about Marvel really knows how to get good casting. They get this very well-rounded cast. It's just the fact that for me, once again, in terms of this Ragnarok, it's
Yeah,
like
the whole buddy cop thing.
is this name false advertising? Um, this whole buddy stuff. I'm like, yeah. And B and C, hearing that the director don't know what to do, I'm like, yeah, that. Then hire a new director.
Can we add a D? Because honestly, the Thor movies don't really have the best track record. I mean, the first one was good, but the
It had
second
its
one
problems.
was second one was kind of yeah.
The worst I've ever had in the MCU.
I guess yeah. You could put that D. Thor's movies just haven't. But the thing is, like I was reading it's kind of funny because I was reading I forgot who was doing it. A couple of writers, I forget what magazine, but they literally said it's kind of ironic, but think about it. Chris Hemsworth, nice guy, oh cool, and then he's just like, he's a great guy, but have you ever noticed that outside of his Thor movies, every movie he's ever been in, tank or
Yep.
don't? And I'm like, oh snap, that's for real. And I'm like, yeah, they don't. Outside of Thor, and that's kind of sad. It's
That
like
is kind of sad because Thor doesn't even do that well, comparatively to other Marvel movies. But that's
that.
true. Every other movie he's in, besides the Thor stuff and the Avengers, tanks.
So, but other than that, I'm fine with that. There was something else I wanted.
Isn't he going to be in the Ghostbusters movie?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's like their Janine. He's a male. Basically, I look at him as he's the male Janine. Instead of Janine being female, he's male.
So yeah, that's another bad omen for the Ghostbusters movie.
I just love him. Hey, I want to be a Ghostbuster. And then they take over, and the ghost takes over. And he's just like, away. I'm like, great.
What else did I
Oh
want?
man.
What else did I want to hit? I know there was a couple of something else I want. Oh,
Sorry.
Basically now that Supergirl is gonna be on CW, at the latest convention for CW, and when they announced the lineup for next year, what shows is gonna be where. Supergirl will still be on Mondays.
So it's gonna be pretty much every day of the week. There's a DC TV show.
Yeah, except Fridays.
Yep.
But they basically announced that there is a big crossover event coming between all 4 shows. I'm like, whoa, wow, okay. So Supergirl, Flash, Legend of Tomorrow, and Arrow. There's going to be a crossover event. I'm like,
Don't let Arrow touch Supergirl, please.
I don't know where they go with that one, but yeah, I can't believe they're going to do that. There was several pictures taken where you see a lot of the CW people like hugging on Melissa. You got Katie Lotz. They took a picture together. I was like,
I want the big crossover to be a musical episode. It's got to be a musical episode because there are so many people on these shows that they can sing. How can they not do a musical episode?
like they did a I remember back in the day they did some of my favorite shows. I remember they did a Buffy.
Yeah, Buffy did one.
Even
Scrubs did one.
Who?
Scrubs.
Oh, Scrubs did one. Okay, I didn't know that one. I know Xena did one too, which was really.
Xena did one.
Which Lucy Lawless is another one that can sing for real. She's legit. Let's see who else I remember doing this.
Agent Carter did it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Agent Carter did do.
Agent Carter did it too. Yeah. All right. People have been asking me give my thoughts on this. I give you a little bit. Look, guys, I understand. Yeah, I will miss Agent Carter too. Guys, I'm not gonna lie. I really thought Haley. That is the role that really made Haley who she is now, more popular than she is now. I'm not
On the
saying that
bright
she wasn't.
side, though, that conviction show looks awesome.
Uh, true, and I know there's this big pension that's been signed by millions of people saying Netflix saved. Look, I'm gonna be honest once again. Pensions do shit for nothing. You know,
Yeah, I know.
I'm serious. If that was the case, you know how many shows would be back on air if pensions worked? They don't
Yep.
work.
Generator Rex would be back. Young Justice would be back.
I mean,
Young
I mean,
Justice would have
I
been
mean, I
back.
gotta lie because there have been some shows that have been saved by fans. Community. Um, there was a show I was watching where John Noble was on it. Damn, what was the name of the show called again? Fringe.
Wasn't it
That
Fringe?
was
Yeah,
Fringe was
Fringe.
saved by the fans for one more season. Uh, but pensions really do nothing, guys. I'm gonna be honest. They be straight. They don't. Oh, sign this to get this back on the air. I'm like, if that's the case, then there'd be a lot of shows that would happen. But um, hey, I thank Miss Atwell, and it's not like she'll probably be gone. I mean, the thing about it was, the reason why I was enjoying it was because it was kind of different. And for me, it was more of looking at it from a point of like, okay, this is supposed to build up some of those kind of holes in the MCU universe's history.
Yeah,
Like,
and I wanted to see Peggy and Hank working together and stuff.
you
Like
know,
that I wanted to
Yeah.
see.
it's
And
supposed to,
like,
it was
them
supposed to
founding
kind of,
Shield.
yeah, that's basically what it's supposed to build up. I thought, okay, we're just, and then the other thing is that, yeah, the series ended on a cliffhanger ending. It's like,
Yep.
oh man,
Yeah, with Thompson getting shot.
yeah, that dude dead. That dude dead. Uh, so yeah, and not knowing who shot him, and now you will never know because the show's canceled.
He did.
And the other thing is like, you got to be honest too, is like the ratings kept going down. It was,
Me and Kyle talked about that. We
Mhm.
were thinking that it was going to get canceled as soon as they started releasing 2 episodes every week.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my big 401 on that, guys. I just like, yeah, 'cause people kept asking me like, what's your feeling on that? What was your feeling on Carter? I'm like, yeah, it's sad, but she's an actress. She got to
Yeah.
move on, and she looks like she is moving on to something else. Called Convictions. It's not the first time
It's
that's been
definitely
there.
sad.
What else does somebody want to ask you?
And
Go ahead, because I'm trying to find that.
I actually got some.
Go ahead.
Apparently, but apparently the actress Chloe Bennett, who plays Daisy, has finally come out and started saying Marvel doesn't care about TV. Like the MCU movies don't care about TV at all. There's an article if you look up her name. It's just like she's talking about the movies like to pretend they're all interconnected. They have a connective tissue, but our stuff never gets connected. Like there's nothing or anything. She's like, I'd love to appear in a Marvel movie, but the movies don't reference any of our stuff. And
Yeah, I read that. I read that from a lot of. Yeah, and I kind of accept my piece on that too. I mean, it's not. It's the whole, yeah, the movies and the TV, but it's also the Feige and whatever his name is, Ike.
Carl Butter.
Yeah, like they got this big feud with each other. They don't like each other, and hence
yeah,
why now Feige doesn't need to go to him anymore. He can just. Uh,
Although
I would.
from what I heard, from that Spider-Man Homecoming synopsis that I was talking about, in one of the scenes where Spidey actually saves a lady, she actually confuses him for Daredevil, and
that's awesome.
then so I thought that was cool. So they actually do reference Daredevil. It's like, "Hey, you're the same guy from Hell's Kitchen, right?" It's like, "No, you're thinking of the dude with horns."
So wait.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I admit it. Yeah, there are some characters. I mean, honestly, to me, it's like, look, Shield, Agent of Shield. I mean, I would love to see Coulson back in the movies, like him just finally come out and admit, yeah, I'm alive. You know, because every now and again, like I said, I didn't even watch the finale of this Agent Show. I just read it, like who died. That's what I want to know. Okay, who died? Because they were making a big deal out of somebody's gonna die, and it was Lincoln. I'm like, yeah, sorry,
It
I
was
spoiled it. I was like, yeah, it's
Ward.
Lincoln. But the
No,
thing
you
about it
can't.
is like, and of course, who played Hive, he's dead too. So those characters are not coming back. But
Unless you replay the ending and make sure Mike survives.
yeah, but other than that, Chloe, the way she wrote it or the way she talked about it, she makes some sense. It's like, yeah, we kind of reference their stuff, and it's like almost like, but then it's always kind of like how you said, Kyle. It's like Shield sometimes is almost like it's in its own world. It's not even really. They just say it's a part of the MCU.
It's like
Um,
a time, like I've always said.
yeah,
It's
but
like, um, I think the thing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that has a hard time is unlike Agent Carter or even Netflix stuff. Agent Carter is a thing taking place in the past. You're never going to reference that stuff in the movie, so it's just kind of like a nice sequel to First Avenger. And it's just building on S.H.I.E.L.D. The Netflix stuff mentions Avengers, but it's not like Daredevil and Jessica Jones are like worldwide things. Like they get talked about, but like they're not. They're just like street level characters that are their own thing mostly. They're it's just that darker side of the universe that just is like, yeah, the Avengers are around. We mentioned them, but we're just kind of the street level, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. Like Agents of Shield doesn't have that luxury because it's Shield. It should be more interconnected with the movies. It's just one of those things.
And I think the biggest weakness of that is they're still a freaking underground.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Like,
they can't be officially announced as Shield.
and it's weird because you'd think that Civil War would be the perfect time to reestablish Shield because they need a governmental body to keep heroes in check. And I thought that's what they were gonna do with the whole thing. I thought they were gonna do a whole Tony Stark. They reinstate Shield and they make Tony Stark the new director type of deal. But it's whatever.
Yeah, that didn't happen. Oh man, wait, Jeremy. You mean you don't want to see General Ross as director of Shield?
Fuck mustache. Alright.
Fuck mustache. Fuck mustache.
If they make him Red Hulk, they really need to solve a plot point that I think has bothered me for years. Is why is it when he's just General Ross, he has the
Are
beard,
you,
but
are
when
you,
he
you're,
transforms,
ta- you're talking about you're talking about the Optimus Prime trailer mustache. Yep.
yeah, it just disappears and reappears.
It's comic logic, Kyle. Freddy's crutches, Optimus Prime's trailer, and Ross's mustache all disappear upon transformation.
It's not good enough for me, Jeremy. I can't take that. It's not
That's
good enough for me.
divided. I,
I need an issue.
yeah, I mean that is true. I mean they've shown it where he transformed right in front of Steve Rogers at one point when Red Hulk was still with the team Avengers, and the beard just disappeared. I was like, what the hell?
I mean, like I thought
Oh,
maybe like it burns off because you know how he gives off the whole excess heat thing,
Yeah,
and
oh
it
yeah.
grows back.
the
But
madder he
Also,
gets, the hotter it gets.
also, I told Jeremy about this, but this is also news. Chris, you're gonna be really upset about this, like me and Jeremy were. Red Wolf next week after its sixth issue is getting canceled.
Chris has left the building.
Wow. Yeah, we had a lot of other stuff getting canceled and newsworthy wise.
Hercules.
Were you reading Starman and Night Mask and Weird
I
World at
I
all?
read the first two of Starbound Night Mask, and then I didn't really I couldn't get into it. Weird World I liked. I'm upset. I'm upset. Another book Mike Del Mundo draws gets canceled because that man's artwork is beautiful.
Yeah, and I felt the need to bring it up because it is newsworthy. These are titles getting canceled next week, and it just goes to the thing. Comic book fans nowadays aren't really. I guess they just choose what they know. Like a lot of comic book fans don't really
Yeah, a lot
go
of them
out of
just
their
stick
way
with
to
the
try pushing it.
mainstream. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I remember when the writer of Black Knight was like, the market's just not what it used to be. Hercules got canceled with 6, and that mini that for Civil War II is clearly going to be, I'm guessing, tying everything up from Abnett's run. But like, just it's really sad,
Yeah, no
that books
Hercules.
like those don't last.
I'm
No
just saying,
Hercules.
man, they can't end that series with him getting drunk. They gotta fix that.
Exactly, they really do.
Mm. I knew it. I knew it. I had a. Yeah.
I have to look up Red Wolf. I might have to see how it was doing. I don't know how good it was doing.
That's
I have to
there.
look.
I think that's who was doing Black Knight. I read his article about, and he is right. Well, I will say that I applaud Marvel for trying. Because they put him on the forefront that Red Wolf is gonna be a key player. When they was doing the all new different, it basically said these characters here are gonna be key players, and it basically had him there. Now I gotta go
And
and
they really tried pushing Weird World for a while.
yeah. So
It sucks
now
that
I
when the
gotta
book
tell
that Mundo
Mister.
draws is gone.
I gotta talk to Mister Edmondson and tell him I'm sorry. Because I really enjoyed that book. I was loving that book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was different. I was liking it, and Hercules, man, Abnett was doing such a key. Well, at first, when they first announced Hercules was coming out, there was so many plans he had for that book. I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cool. And
He was turning Herc's life around and everything, and I was like, oh yeah. And then Gilgamesh was in it, and I'm like, all right, cool. Gilgamesh is awesome. And then he got drunk, and then I'm like, no, you can't end it here.
so, yeah, oh man,
I'm trying to look up the sales.
nah,
I don't know anywhere. It was on the stands. I can't find anything for
that
it.
sucks. That sucks. It sucks.
So is
Yeah.
that the last piece of news, Kyle? You want to check if we got any questions?
Yeah, we do have a couple, but yeah, that was the last piece of news I think was worthy of mentioning, and it was comic book related for the show. So yeah, let me look at the page one more time, because we got a couple. We got a couple from Nathan, and I think we have one or two from Alana. I think. Let's see. Okay, so first question from Nathan is, how about Emma Stone for Batgirl?
Oh, you're talking about that picture I put up?
I would take that, but Jenna Malone was already officially cast as Barbara Gordon, so but she's gonna be Oracle, so
Mhm.
it's probably if we're gonna see Batgirl, it's either gonna be Steph or Cass.
Mhm.
All right. How about Ian Somerhalder for Nightwing? I don't know how you say that last name. I'm sorry,
The
but
dude from Vampire Diaries? Nah. I like Damon from Vampire Diaries, but nah, he's a little too skinny and a bit too old, I think, to play Dick Grayson. Uh,
Mhm.
I would I keep saying this, and I don't know if people will agree with me, but I think Tyler Posey could pull off playing Dick Grayson. He has the he has the personality. He's got the energy for it, and good enough build to play Nightwing. What do you think, Chris? I know you watch Teen Wolf too.
Oh, Tyler,
Yeah.
Dick Grayson, he he could pull it off. And I think they let him. He put on maybe a little bit more muscle. He probably pull it off. I mean, how tall is Tyler? He's pretty tall. I know he's taller than me. So,
Let's see. Doing a quick Google search.
so,
Also, just to quickly answer your question, Alana, unless Chris has to change it, but we'll be doing the roundtable. I'm guessing you're asking for Civil War tomorrow? Like, is that
Tyler
correct?
Posey is
We're doing it
5'10".
tomorrow?
5'10". Okay, he's Peter Parker size. Mm. Yeah.
Wow.
Who asked that? Lana?
Yep.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to get that done tomorrow. Definitely. Once
And it'll be a good time.
probably going to do it a little earlier.
Sorry.
But I think that's one thing, a lot of that we all want to talk about.
Yep. Because I mean, we've talked about it multiple times on this podcast alone. So.
Okay. I'll be curious to see who we get for that. I wonder if Steve and Tony will pop in and be able to talk. We haven't seen them on the channel in a while, so it'd be cool if we got them.
I know Tony's been wanting to. That's the whole reason we waited in the first place, is because Tony didn't see it till last Thursday, or like 2 Thursdays ago.
Yeah. Okay. This next question from Nathan Banks. Jensen Ackles as Red Hood.
That's what I've wanted for a long time, but I don't know if that's going to actually happen, because he turned down. I forget what role. There was a superhero role he turned down just so he could keep playing on Supernatural. What was it? Crap, I can't think of it right now. It'll come to me when it's not important. But yeah, I don't think so. Because I think he's contracted for life to play Dean Winchester.
Contracted for life.
Pretty much. That show's never going to end.
Yeah, God.
I'm pretty sure like they signed that contract in blood, and like their souls are just binded to the show.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything else since that. Like, he's only done the Red Hood animated movie, and that was the only other thing he
did. I remember him doing one. Besides, remember, first of all, guys, remember he first came from Smallville.
Smallville, yep.
And then I know he did one movie. Was a horror movie. I think it was that Bloody Valentine 3D movie or something like that.
Oh, My Bloody Valentine?
Yeah, he was in that. Whatever. Other than that, and Jarek Pat, he did that later. Friday the 13th. Yeah.
And he was also on Gilmore Girls for a while. I watched that show with my sister back in the day.
Back in the day. All right. Nathan Banks says, "I guess Infinity Crisis is coming to CW."
Thanks. So that's kind of.
I mean, probably if they want to have Supergirl in the same world, they could do it that way. I mean,
I got a question. And it's this. Do you guys think it's kind of a shame that we have Supergirl now on CW instead of it being its own thing on...
earlier?
No. Yeah, because the biggest problem, Chris, you've always said, and Jeremy, you've agreed, and I remember rewatching you guys' horror review for Season 1, was Superman, how they have to contrive reasons he can't be there, what if you did for this universe where you could have had Flash and Arrow be like a trinity along with her, you know, the two of that trinity, and now it's just like, well, it's a part of a different universe, but it's still the, you know, Berlanti one. And
That's why I think Nathan's whole Infinite Crisis thing is gonna happen, and I think that might actually be what the Flash finale is gonna be. Like it might be leading
yeah.
up to that. Because
And
I
also,
mean,
there's also the factor to put in the factor that it was said in Flash that he's a member of the Justice League, and I'm like, okay, how is that possible if there's no Superman and things like that? Um, and then of course everybody will go back to what Hunter said. I've seen Dark Knights Fall and Man of Steel. I'm like, okay, you don't just say some stuff like that without.
that's why I'm thinking if they do the whole Crisis on Infinite Earth, and they even said, remember the newspaper in season 1 for the Flash? Flash disappears in a crisis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm thinking Crisis of Infinite Earths might happen, and that's how we get Kara and Clark on this in this universe. And maybe because it's on the CW now, they'll finally be like, "Hey, we're gonna cast Superman, guys, because you guys are obviously not liking the one in the movies. So yeah, let's try to get
Oh,
public opinion for Superman back."
that I knew there was something else I wanted to talk about in terms of Jeff Johns' big new role now.
As the Feige for DC.
Yeah, he's the Feige now for. He has the Feige role now. Him and I forgot the other guy, but he basically came out and said pretty much bringing hope back to the movie side, like basically bringing these characters back to what they really supposed to be like. Uh,
I mean, if you can do it for Rebirth, I'm hoping you can do it for the movies.
and that's all good. I wish him nothing but the best. I just hope that um, this just doesn't overwhelm him. I mean, he does a lot. I mean,
And he's still
Yeah,
writing
he,
comics. Like,
he
what the heck?
writes he writes comics. He is like what chief executive or something at DC.
He's chief creative officer at
Yeah,
DC.
and then he's got all this to deal with. Is like
He's
good
in
thing he has.
charge of the entire DC Rebirth line.
Yeah, and now he's in charge of the whole movie lineup along with another a partner. But that's the thing, he has a partner with him, to help him. I mean, Feige doesn't have to do that because he's not writing the comics. He's not writing comics. He's just dealing with the movie stuff. But still, when he said that, it's just like, okay, this may do bring hope, but basically, I think this also means that Schneider is out, and if that's the case, good. You know, I don't need him
Yes,
around.
it's about damn time.
Because
I think Snyder's still attached to directing Justice League and stuff like that. So,
I
as
really,
far as
because I think
yeah,
what's his name will get rid of him quick. After what that guy had to say, I'm like, yeah, that guy cuckoo.
I mean, yeah, I want to get rid of Don too, but I feel like Warner Brothers would like
They're
publicly
probably going to get rid of
denounce
Goyer first.
them, like just. Well, Goyer's already gone because of Terry was rewriting his script, and I mean, he was off that project right before we even saw. I think a year before anyone even.
I'm just look. All I know is the bottom line is that basically, and Snyder said Snyder Johns is he's got this big role now and he's got this big job, and like I said, if he wants to really bring those characters back to their true nature and everything like that, it's gonna take some time. I'm not expecting it to happen just like that, but I guess Warner Brothers, this is their way of saying, hey, we know we kind of screwed up on B versus BVS, so this is our saying we're sorry. Not gonna come out and say it officially, but yeah.
I mean, DC never comes out and officially says they're sorry. I mean, they pretty much did with Rebirth, but I mean, you know, I'm okay as long as if Johns can handle it, then great. But I just hope he doesn't, you know, pull a Bendis and have way too many plates going, and that makes his work suffer.
Yeah, and I don't like Jones that much. As a writer, he's very mixed with me. A lot of the work I don't care for him on. But if he makes those movies good, awesome. I'm tired of going to DC films and not liking them. Haven't liked one since
This
Dark
would be
Knight.
good for your sister too.
She said this, which I don't agree with her for the two Nolan movies. She says DC movies have just sucked for like 10 years, and I'm like, well, I mean, Nolan kind of was at least better than anything we've gotten. So I was like,
I was gonna say Batman Begins was really good. Dark Knight was really good. Dark Knight Rises was not that bad. Like everybody is very critical about it. It wasn't great, but it was just okay.
it was bad for me.
All right, I think okay. I did have one. See, now that I'm remembering everything I did. Rumor has it there is an end credit after X-Men, and a certain name drop is mentioned.
What? I didn't hear this one. What's the name
there's
drop?
a certain name drop by the name of Essex.
Oh shit! Finally!
So if it is true, then a
Finally!
certain pale-skinned, red-eyed man is coming finally. So we're getting somewhere down the future, and it would make sense to connect a lot of that stuff in terms of Cable,
Especially and Cyclops.
yeah, as well as maybe Gambit in a sense. And if it is true that Mr. Sinister is coming, hey, cool.
It was Mr. Sinister. I was hearing things that it was X-23.
No, and
Yeah,
not just that. That he could be the one that kind of helps create X-23. And
Okay.
that one,
I was lacking.
I can buy that too. I mean, he's a
I'm cool with
geneticist.
that as long as Sarah Kinney is involved.
Yeah, I can. But other than that, yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Mr. Sinister running the facility. Holy crap.
That would be holy sh! Oh god, we'll probably I don't know when we'll see that movie. I don't know if we'll actually see that opening weekend, but if
I'm gonna try for opening weekend.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it opening weekend, but I'll definitely see it. But because I think I'm gonna be busy that week, or I just can't get to see it that week.
Yeah.
So we'll probably shoot for within 2 weeks of the movie coming out. Like, I mean, within the first 2 weeks.
Like, Civil War was a different because I actually was.
Well, yeah, because that one is huge because it had Black Panther and Spider-Man.
I kind of put money aside right for that one. Like I knew exactly when I was getting that one, so I was like, yeah, we're going to see. I had my tickets ready for that.
Like the only thing that's really pushing me heavy to see X-Men for real is Miss Munn as Psylocke, and of course Sophie Turner as Jean Grey, because Jean Grey is like one of my favorite X-Men. I just love telepaths in general, and like seeing Jean in the same movie
and seeing the costumes. That's what I want to see.
Yep.
Those colorful ones they showed, which I never was clamoring for that, but those colorful ones look really good. That they showed.
Yeah, we're probably only going to see them in the last 10 minutes, but it's okay.
That's fine, and it kind of fits because the next X-Men movie is going to be in the 90s.
Yeah, it's going to be in the 90s.
Uh-oh. Pouches, zippers, and more pouches.
And that movie better be 1996, and that movie better come out on August 29th, because that is my birthday, and if it doesn't, I'm going to be very, very angry. I'll be like...
Can Jubilee die? Can Jubilee die in that movie?
Come on.
Come on.
there's a info commercial with her in it talking about the
Oh yeah.
school. It's pretty cool. I was like, oh, that's cool.
So they want me to not want to go to the Xavier Institute.
It's very
They want me
80s.
to
Like
do.
it's very 80s. It was funny. I thought it was funny.
I'm just looking forward to that movie because of the younger X-Men,
Oh yeah,
like Scott and Jean.
I'm hoping they actually give Scott a character instead of
I
just
think
making him
Yeah.
butter.
that's what I've heard from some of the people that have liked this. Said, yeah, this gives Scott very much a character, and
Good.
it's kind of funny because I was watching Days of Futures Past a couple of days ago, and remember when Logan and Professor are on the plane, and he's like, "Don't forget about us," remember Scott, Jean, Storm. There's so many of us. Don't forget about us. And it's kind of funny because I think in this he doesn't forget, but I guess he didn't get to Storm as quickly as he got to Jean and Scott. Hence why I guess Apocalypse gets to her first.
Yep.
Yeah, and I find it funny that Wolverine didn't give him last name. He's like, find Scott, Jean. Like, I can imagine Professor X after the all over. Okay, Scott, Jean. There's like 1,000 of those around the world. Fuck! Like, I got to go through all of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because he's saying Scott, Jean, then he says Storm. I always laugh. I was like, Logan, you know her real name. Why don't you use it?
I was like, hold up, didn't you guys date? I'm like, I'm pretty sure you know her last name.
It's like,
Her
Lord,
actual name.
say her name, Aurora. Say it. It's pretty funny.
Say it. Say it.
Yeah, say it. Say it. Finish it. Finish it.
I still want to know if Kurt is Mystique's kid.
Yeah, that's another one. They say she's really connected to him, and still, I after seeing that meme where she literally that elbow, she nearly misses that guy.
She doesn't. It looks like she doesn't even touch him.
She doesn't touch it. She doesn't touch the dude. And I'm like, I had this kind of argument with this dude. I'm like, dude, yeah, it's a movie, but even as movie magic, they'll make it look like she connected. You clearly see this guy has to fake like, I got hit in the face. Like I was like, oh my god, like no way. That's you see her with her goofy looking face. She's and then she does it. I'm like, completely misses. I'm like, damn.
The worst part about Jennifer Lawrence in that movie is when she walks through, I think it's Weapon X, she's like, it took you guys so long. And she's got like the worst face I've ever seen. And like Scott's like, we were busy.
And rumor has it, yeah, it's just a cameo for Logan, like I thought it was.
It probably. I figured.
Well, no. Well, are you sure, Chris? It's Wolverine because a lot of reports say the claws are similar to Wolverine. It's like.
I mean, that was a hairy arm, man. Unless Laura forgot to shave.
And besides, remember, Laura has 2 claws, not 3.
Yep.
Hairy arm. Got to shave. And
I mean,
hey, look, man.
I
experimented.
And
some
also
things
like,
are genetic. I mean,
I also like the M&M commercial with Nightcrawler.
The rainy day commercial.
Yeah, she's like M&M's. Sorry, Storm. I'm saving them for a rainy day. She just makes it rain. I was like, it's so funny. It's like that's a wrong woman to be saying. Yeah, I'm saving it for a rainy day. And speaking of Olivia Munn, she really got into shape. She explained how she got into shape for the role. She said I think 65% of her diet was fruits. She just ate fruits all the time, and the rest was just eating junk. She said junk. It's like,
I mean, she had to build up the Psylocke butt, man. Like,
and of course, and a lot of weapons training. She did. I actually saw a video of her using the sword, training with her sword and stuff.
Oh, did you guys know Olivia Munn's been in a has previously been in a superhero movie?
yeah, she was the reporter in Iron Man 2, right?
Yeah, she was in Iron Man
Yeah.
2.
Mm-hmm.
That was when she still
I
was.
didn't.
She
Yeah,
was.
because she was with G4.
She still was with G4 with the Attack of the Show. I miss G4. I miss that series. I used to like that.
She used to cover the comics section of Attack on the Show. Fresh Ink.
So yeah. All right. All right. Let's wrap this up. Let's get to these questions. Any more?
Yeah. We have uh, four more, and they're all from Alana. How do you guys feel about Michael B. Jordan in Panther? And then uh, she asked, not he, sorry, Alana. She asked, how about John Boyega in Panther? As well. So those are two Panther-related questions.
I would
Uh,
like John Boyega in Panther. That would be pretty cool.
I I gave my piece on Michael B. That's good news. You know, him and Mr. Coogler have already done 2 previous movies together, so that chemistry's already going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
both of them were Oscar nominated.
right, and but the question really, Alana, is who is he playing? They keep saying he's a villain, but then it's like, what villain? People keep saying it's White Wolf.
I'm personally, as a Black Panther fan, I'm tired of seeing M'Baku everywhere, so I don't want M'Baku.
And other than that, I mean, I want to see M'Baku, but I don't think he's got the big presence to be M'Baku.
It has to be like a really, really huge dude. Like,
Yeah, like, I mean, he has to be a big guy. I mean, first of all, let's be honest. I can't see them having this guy put on a ape suit or half of an ape suit. I mean, it's only practical that he just be pretty big. But
that's why I think White Wolf will work the best. And besides, like, they can do like a whole Loki type situation with him,
um,
and the MCU did really well with Loki before, and it could give them a reason not to kill him off. Because let's not kill him off.
and I don't know about Eric Killmonger because that's another guy that's kind of big. So I don't, I'm not saying that Mike. I mean, he could put back on his Creed body again because he's pretty big in that. But I don't. Somebody's like, yeah, he's gonna be M'Baku. I'm like, no, he's not. I was like, I can't see him being M'Baku the man ape. I can see maybe White Wolf, maybe T'Challa's half brother, step brother, half brother. But we'll have to see.
They also kind of shut down the Lupita rumors because they say her schedule is way too packed for the next few Star Wars movies for her to even have time
Hmm.
to shoot for Panther. So I don't think she's actually involved.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know. You know how they do. They shut that stuff down just to. Yeah, she's in it. Just forget it. Um, and who's the other one she said? Oh, who played Finn, right?
John Boyega. Yeah,
Yeah.
John Boyega, the dude who played Finn.
I heard that rumor too that he could be casted in it too. If he got casted in this, that'd be another probably back-to-back hit for him. He's in Star Wars, and I'm just wondering. You see him making that funny face that he always does. Anytime I seen him, he's always.
Also, there's another case of I think he's probably too busy filming Star Wars to film
Yeah,
anything else because that movie, their film schedule is way rigorous because they film back to back to back.
yeah. Well, just be funny to see it just like he always.
He does make the same face.
he makes face. I'm just like, that's so funny. Just he's just like, uh, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind. I know that the film is definitely going to be 90% African American, and I heard another rumor is that Marvel is actually trying to shoot half of the film in Africa. So I'm like, okay, they're really going in on this one.
That's pretty awesome.
Uh,
Yeah.
so,
Mm-hmm.
Is that
uh,
it, Kyle?
Do we want to just? Yeah, Alana asked. She has two more. She has one for just for Chris.
okay.
And we
What
have
about,
one on
all right,
Netflix
answer the one
series.
for,
Um,
okay, Blade, Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, rumored to get Netflix series. Yeah, this is a big rumor coming out now. It's like these three characters are now really rumored to get series.
answer the what?
Huh?
They could start. I guess it might be another phase for Netflix. Maybe
Like,
they're doing a Netflix phase 2, where instead of Defenders, it's Midnight Suns, maybe,
there's
or
rumor,
Marvel Knights.
there's rumor that the I guess after Defenders or so there are Moon Knight, Blade, and Ghost Rider Netflix series.
So maybe a Marvel Knights thing.
Yeah, probably yeah, definitely that, or the phase two, like they want to keep it going. So I guess you could say the phase twos will probably be Punisher, this and all that stuff. Uh, I mean, great. I mean,
Yeah.
Blade is to me is the unsung hero for the superhero movies. Um,
Because he was technically the first successful superhero movie.
I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of people forget that he was. I mean, they thought, a lot of people just probably thought he was just a character made up. But no, he's a comic character. Uh, Marvel didn't officially put their name to it until that crappy third one, you know, um, which was sad. Uh, I'll never forget that. Jesus Christ. Stupid Triple H in that one. Give me a break. Uh,
Man, that chick with the fang vagina was hilarious.
God. But I mean, look, and Jessica Biel, I thought she got into great shape. I mean, she looked like a badass, and Ryan Reynolds. I mean, he always says thank Blade 3 for their Deadpool. I'm like, okay, but he wasn't Hannibal King at all. But yeah, Blade is the unsung hero, and that doesn't get enough credit that he's deserved. But yeah, if they want to do Blade for
What
Netflix,
happened to his book, by the way?
it's
Like,
coming. It just pushed it back now.
okay.
For me, I think Blade, yeah, Blade should be on Netflix. It's just that you're going to be dealing with vampires now, so it's like a weird
They got
vampire.
to wait until after Doctor Strange comes out.
I'm telling you, you gotta wait for that. Like, as for Ghost Rider, that's another one. Like you're talking about demons now.
And gods for Moon Knight, because you're talking about Khonshu.
Yeah, I'm like, so yeah, that kind of stuff works. But if it is true that they're gonna happen, that's great. For Moon Knight, I would like his. See, that's where that armored costume really should have went into focus, because Moon Knight did have like an armored look. But other than that, yeah, that's fine. Now, what's this question that Lana had for me? That's it.
Thoughts on the Grimm season finale?
Oh, yeah, that was last night. I watched the 2-hour season 5 finale of Grimm, and yeah, Alana, that was really good. That's how you do a season finale. And I'm looking right here now. You put series finale. It's not series, it's season. They got it. They were renewed for a 6th season. Um, since I'm the only one that watches, I know. I wish Victor was here because we can go into detail about it. But yeah, good setup. there was a telepath battle that went on between two of the monsters from the Grimm universe. There's the Hexen Beast and the Zower Beast, and they could use telekinesis. And they were just throwing each other around, like wow, and shooting glass at each other. It was really cool. It felt like a battle between Jean and somebody else. Because one of them was a female. Nick, who's the Grimm, he held his own. It was really cool. It was fun, and then seeing that last part between who got killed, I was like, yeah, that motherfucker got killed. Cause I was happy. I wanted the guy, and the villain in the show is the actor who played Yosent from the first Iron Man movie. Believe it or not. So he was, yeah, he was the villain in that, and I was like, yeah, he was a dick. I was like, I want this fucker to die. But yeah, the finale was good. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to season 6. Now I gotta wait till next year, which sucks.
6.
Yeah, 6. Everything is 6.
All right, well, that's about it, guys, for the show. There's no more questions, and it's like 3:25 a.m. Sorry.
So yeah, we.
Oh. Yep.
All right, y'all.
All right, guys.
It's just life. Oh wow. Sorry. Oh God, I almost took your thing, Jeremy. My bad. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's all good. So anyway, guys, that's the show, and I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been the YouTubers Core Comic Convo episode 4, and like I always say, once comic book geek, always comic book geek. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Strings.